everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're live. Ayo.
Good evening, Megalopolis. Here in the new city, are your young children hanging out with ex-villains? Find out tonight on the Brockton Bay Book Club.
I like
Nice.
the ending on the
Solid.
question. Just leave it hanging.
I wasn't
always just
sure
gotta
if
ask
you
the
were done
question.
yet.
Yeah.
No, I come from the Tucker Carlson School of News.
I was thinking it was like the old, 11 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are?
Yeah.
That's the vibe I was going with too. Also, the voice. I realize I've been doing this voice recently for a couple other things, and it is, it finally clicked what it is. It's for those of you who have played Freedom Force, which is a real-time strategy RPG superhero game. The main narrator always talks like this. What will happen next for the Freedom Force?
Yeah, sounds about right for a superhero voice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Makes sense.
Nice. We're gonna get
A bit
reverb
buggy, but a very fun
on
superhero
there.
game.
It'll be great.
All right, welcome to the Brockton Bay
Hey.
Book Club. We are working on what, Arc 3 tonight?
Yeah.
It is our
Is our
That's
own-
right.
That's what
Yes,
I
Arc
read.
3.
Trace.
Good. For those of you who have never been here before, we are a group of friends with a hobby that kind of got out of control, so we started a podcast just to record us talking, and other people are also involved.
Yep.
On the podcast, we have our lovely hosts, Hannah,
Hi.
Jacob,
That's me.
Michael,
Ayo.
and Nick. Nick, say something for the crowd.
Yeah, hello. Ah,
There we
yes, I
go.
forget we have some audio-only listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello there.
And this is your hostess with the most, just Alan. Chat,
With-
love you as always. Remember, we're going to be very careful with our spoilers. You guys are always the
Yeah.
best at answering questions, and I love that. Let's
Yes.
try and keep it to Arc 3 because, remember, besides myself and you guys, the rest of these people have never read this before, and we
Exactly.
want to keep those hard twists of the knife, to really feel that when it hits.
The soft
So,
twists too, because
soft
there's
twists,
something
yeah.
that was spoiled for me, and now I can't read without thinking about it. So
So we're going to be careful about that. But in terms of fun games to play in chat while we're doing that, we have in the description a bingo card that you can play for all the things going on to keep track of. And if you'd like to contribute to that bingo card and the other goings on, or just want to spoil the heck out of it, we have a word spoilers channel in our Discord. Become a patron for as low as $1 a month, and you too can join our Discord where we share memes, some exclusive Patreon content, and one of those things is contributing to the bingo card. So, while
There
I'm
you
talking
go.
about that, I'm going to bring up the bingo card as well, so I can keep track. All right,
Thanks for
let's
being
get
here,
into
guys.
this overall. Oh yes, and a wonderful thanks to our patrons who are already subscribed. We love you all, and thank you, those of you who are here and playing. So, Arc 3 overall vibes check. Let's go. What are you feeling?
Fun little chapter. I almost want to say this thing that always precedes us talking for like 4 to 5 hours, but not a lot happened, which was kind of nice. It was just kind of it was a smaller kind of character building arc. It was kind of fun, and knowing us, we've got hours of discussion ahead of us now, so I apologize. But,
Yeah.
it was a pleasant little arc.
It's
Both and.
It's the not a lot happened, but there's a lot in the details that does happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think generally looking back in the moment, I liked this arc, and then looking back as I've been thinking about it today, I've kind of thought I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I liked it that much in the sense of maybe it just wasn't super memorable. I really like Capture the Flag. We'll get to that. I thought that was fun. I really like the interlude. That was fun.
As always.
And then everything else I'm kind of like, eh. I like the Tattletale came back, but that's about it. I don't know. It felt very. The more I've reflected on it, the more mid it's felt in my heart. But, that's my opinion. I did go back. If we want to do this at the top, I did go back to the to Glowworm to figure out who everybody's username is, and I'm pretty sure I know who everybody is.
I forgot.
I think it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious once you go back. You're like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah. I really hate to say this because you guys know how much I love Worm. I have thus far found myself quite bored with Ward, which is painful for me to even say out loud. Like, it hurts my heart.
New podcast title: Bored with Ward.
Bored of Ward. Here's my issues. We have moments where I'm like locked in, like interlude, eating it up morsel by morsel. The crumbs, delicious. Capture the Flag, great, tons of fun. Visiting mom, not great, but also great. Everything else boring as fuck. I find myself skimming a lot or reading sections over because I don't care. Or no one talks like this. Why is the writing feel so weirdly different, non-engaging? And please don't hate me, chat. I assume that this is because we're setting tones for the rest of Ward, but I'm having trouble locking in for I'd say about 60% of the plot right now.
I think.
Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was gonna disagree with that. It feels much slower, and I think the comparison would be Worm is to Ward what Breaking Bad is to Better Call Saul, where Breaking Bad stuff happens fast in that show. Like it's intense pretty much from the get-go. Whereas with Better Call Saul, and I haven't finished it yet, so no spoilers there, please. But it's a much slower show. And you kind of have to be willing to invest a little bit and be like, okay, I know this is leading to Breaking Bad, so I want to see where it goes. But this is a very different pace for sure. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying it's not good with Wonderful Lizard. I'm not saying it's a bad show by any means. But it is a pace change, and I think that it is like reading Worm and Installations, you kind of get the sense of, wow, that arc was so action-packed. I can't wait to read the next one next week. Whereas this one is kind of like, it feels more like a traditional book where each arc is like a chapter leading up to something bigger, if that makes sense. It's a bit slower. Not bad, just not as intense as Worm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference with just like Victoria's a really good protagonist. I actually really like her as a protagonist. She's complex. Obviously, we have the history with Worm, a lot going on there. She's really fun to follow, and I'm excited where that goes, but does not start off nearly as quickly as Taylor does in terms of my interest in her journey and her character arc. Like Taylor's immediate trauma, cool action, really cool power, just kind of right off the get-go. I think Victoria's going to get there. I have no doubt about that. I think it's going to be pretty fun to watch her growth in this character, but it's definitely like you said, a bit slower. And then I think specifically for me, I really like the new kind of ensemble cast. A lot of fun characters and powers, but they're no Undersiders, and it is hard because the Undersiders are so good, and they're all so unique, and there's so much character in all of them. And you fall in love with them immediately, and so it's hard to have to spend time now. But again, I like these characters. I'm sure I'm gonna really like them, in a few arcs as time goes on, but it's gonna take some time, and that's definitely a pace change. From War.
It seems like chat is kind of agreeing with us generally, where it's like the beginning of Ward's a bit slower. There's a bit of lulls, and a lot of people have said it's not the best or the worst, as some of you are saying. Yeah. And as Fran said, Taylor was stealing people's eyes by now, so.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. A set of testicles had already dropped off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
some things have happened, right?
And
Yeah.
I do
So
love
it's just
this.
different.
Yeah, I do love this kind of like suspense that like everyone has some backstory that we don't necessarily know about yet, and we keep getting teased it, like Moon Weaver, whatever. I don't know her name. Who cares? Bringing up Capricorn drama, like ate that up. Love that. Love Capricorn. Capricorn's probably my favorite so far. Like I love it. But it also feels like while we do need to earn backstories, I need a little bit more. Like I need a little bit more tidbits. And in terms of like general vibe of this arc, it felt like a lot of when a group is talking about doing something rather than doing it, and that drives me a little crazy. Like I understand all the details are important, like understanding legal and costumes and how we're going to operate as a team and what we're going to do. And part of that is Victoria's job as mentor, walking them through these steps. But it feels like they were going to say it and then tell us what you said kind of vibe. Dr. Dan, as some of us know,
Tell
vibes,
us what you're going to tell
like,
us. Tell us what you told us.
Thank you. Yes,
there
that's
it is, there it is.
succinctly put. And it's the problem is that we don't need that because it's like it's a book. I don't need you. Tell me, and then when everything blows up, then I'll know that things didn't go according to plan. But don't talk about the plan. I don't.
Yeah, I
care.
get what you're saying.
Too much sitting around and talking, not enough do stuff.
Yeah.
Some little anime filler episodes going on here.
Let's see if we can get the code names before we move on.
All right, so back to Glowworm. I mean, so the one that we all know is Kraken in a Jar is Sveta.
Yes.
That was pretty obvious. I think we even guessed that before getting here. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Sveta.
Yeah, I think
was
so.
my guess. Heart-shaped pupil is called out as Kinsey, so we know that's Kinsey.
Obviously, it also vibes Kenzie.
Obviously,
so much.
also vibes. Yep. Of 5 has got to be Rain. He's part of a multi-trigger.
Oh, right.
Like,
Of course.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Also, Nick, say the name because I have to think about it because I haven't thought about this yet.
Oh yeah.
So give me a second to think.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
Well, I've done most of them already, but
I've noticed.
yeah. Sorry, I was kind of running through my guesses, I guess.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
That's okay. So, yeah, Kraken in a Jar, we knew. Heart-shaped pupil, we knew. Of 5, Rain. Mangled Wings. I'm pretty sure I know who.
Take
I mean,
these broken wings and learn to fly.
is it Ashley?
That's what my thought was too, unless it's.
Isn't?
I think it's Ashley. Yeah, because she's the only one who mentions like having not used the computer much.
Yeah.
And just the vibe, she's like, people find you intimidating, but online they just find you to be an asshole. And she's like, I don't care.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Yeah. Rain's whole name, I don't remember Rain's whole name. I didn't copy that into my notes, Fran. I'm sorry. If you happen to know it, that'd be helpful.
I would say, has that been said yet in the book?
Rain's like his last name?
Oh, Rain.
His full name.
I thought you meant his full like screen name.
No,
he
has
if he had a longer
his full name. We don't know his whole name yet, so we're not gonna say it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna say it. Y'all aren't gonna look at chat, and chat isn't gonna say a darn thing, are you, chat? No, we're not. We're gonna let that be a fun treat for later.
Okay, except
it's
that
Rain Hebert.
in this
Shut the fuck up.
in this arc, there is a group chat. Chapter 6, I think. There's a group chat at the beginning
Yeah.
when they're checking into the building, Victoria, I
They-
almost just said Taylor. Victoria gives everyone's first and last.
They do give
name.
his first and last name. It is and you are right. I do remember this. His name is Rain Fraser.
Frasier.
Okay, so it is said.
Frasier.
I'm literally like racking my
Rain
brain, like, should we
Frasier.
know a Frasier? Should we know a Frasier? Frasier. No clue. Wormnesia is strong. with
Probably
this one.
Okay,
based
we
on
haven't
Alan's
said-
reaction, it's probably a fake name. Is my
We have
imagination.
not said.
Maybe.
Yeah,
His
and there's been no
true
code names
name.
except for Capricorn.
Okay.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Oh yeah, Capricorn.
And
yes, we know about
yeah, I guess old Damsel of Distress's old name.
yes.
yeah.
We'll see if that continues.
We haven't like talked about new codish names.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, as far as usernames in Glowworm say, the only one left that is not obvious is Strange Mammal.
which we
Chris?
see a couple different versions of that.
Chris.
Yeah, right.
It's got like
Strange
pensive
mammal.
chameleon and strange mammal
Strange
and
mammal.
upset.
Yep. And
upset.
yeah, and then of course Capricorn is Capricorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So I will say, okay, so going back to Glowworm, knowing what we know about Tristan and Byron, it's in that arc that the Hitman section appears. So it makes it seem as if, oh, you just thought it was a funny name. Okay. It makes it seem as if Capricorn has hired a hitman. Here's my guess, my prediction, and don't tell me if I'm right. My prediction, I think he got a hitman for himself.
I think so too.
I think Byron somehow found a way to cover the screen so Tristan wouldn't see it, or vice versa, and ordered a hitman for himself to kill himself. Or like one of them to kill himself, thus killing the alter ego, basically.
Mhm.
That's my prediction. Don't tell me if I'm right or not, but that's based on now knowing, like, oh, Capricorn, this is Tristan and Byron. I think something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Somebody just hired a hit on themselves.
Yeah. So there's some stinky shit going on here.
Yep.
Young Tootin'.
Yep. And of course, we meet some characters. There were some characters in those chats that we meet later, whose names I did not copy, so I don't remember them now. But Moonbeam and
Oh yeah.
Vera Douche or whatever, I don't know. The two people, yeah, whoever Capricorn's having a fight with, and then also has a fight with later in 3.6.
Yeah.
So
To give my thoughts on the arc, I also think there's some really fun stuff, especially at the end. I generally talk about how I love downtime. I agree. I think this is a really boring chapter for the first part of it. I really don't like it.
Moonsong, thank you.
In defense of thinking about the Undersiders compared to this group of people, I think the Undersiders characters kind of get revealed who they are pretty early on. Like, there's development for Bitch and Aisha, kind of. But that's kind of it. Everybody else is a pretty static character in my mind. And even though they have like their dark secrets, it doesn't change who they are. And it really, like, as cool as it is to get backstory, it really, I don't really feel like it affects much. Like, it's cool in building the character, but I really don't feel like they're that interesting of backstories. As opposed to, these guys clearly have a lot going on, which is why they're like reserved. Like, there's a lot of issues and a lot of depth to these characters that needs to be worked on. And the Undersiders just don't have that. Like, they're fun right out of the gate. They're all very static, interesting characters. And you like them because that's who they are. You know, they don't really change. Ward is not about that as a story. I feel like even so far, like we are in a group that is in group therapy. Change is hopefully inevitable, but you know, that's
Yeah.
that's my thoughts on the gang. I agree. Like they're more undersiders are more enjoyable out the gate, and this group is, they're in therapy for a reason. So,
Cool.
but
Is it just that healthy people aren't exciting characters? Is that what it is?
you know,
Yep.
what's the
I'm
old
mostly kidding, actually.
every happy family is the same, but every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way.
Yeah, I think that's it's a Russian writer, I think.
It's I believe it is War and I believe it's the opening to War and Peace.
Is that,
I thought it was
is that not the,
Anna
I think it's the beginning.
Anna
of, yeah,
Karenina. It's Anna
I think it's
Karenina.
Anna
You are
Karenina.
correct.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right. It is
Yeah.
the
Win
opening
for
to Anna
Hannah.
Karenina. That being said,
Let's go.
I disagree. I also think most people are bad in the like same 5 different ways, and they're really boring.
Fair enough.
So,
Shall we get into it then?
Shall we get into it? Coming
Yeah,
in
let's do it.
at a whopping 47,502 words long, a shorter one for this week, seeing as how we did like 58,000, 51,000 before. We have Arc 3 Glare 3.1. Nick, you have the summaries. Would you care to intro us into
Yes.
what we're doing?
Alrighty, 3.1. Victoria meets with Tattletale, then discusses her and the recording of their conversation with the rest of the team.
I love
So-
Nick's announcer voice. Super solid. Love it.
Thank
B+.
you very much. I do like the return of Tattletale. Still doing her
Love it.
Tattletale mind
Love it.
games where
Still
she's just
tattling.
like still tattling. I love the like, there's this territory and she's like, "Look, Victoria, you might be thinking of moving into that territory, but let me tell you why that's a bad idea." And listen, it's not because I'm a bad person, Victoria. Like
If I didn't do it,
I'm
somebody else
the
would.
least bad.
Yeah.
I love how it's pretty. It seems like nobody really still doesn't know how Tattletale's power works, which is on
Yeah.
par for a thinker. But it's like, oh, that's right. Nobody else knows what we know. They just think she's like just crazy smart / what's the word I'm thinking of? Like a precog.
Precog. Yeah.
Clairvoyant almost.
Clairvoyant. Yeah, exactly. Which has got to be just terrifying. So
So cool.
that's great.
Love our girl.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, she I think it's one of the small things that I liked, speaking of the Undersiders, just since they were mentioned. There's that moment where Victoria's like, "How are your friends?" basically, and Tattletale says something like, "Well, they're fine. I can call them if I need them, but
Mm-hmm.
they're fine." Like we're doing our
I mean,
own
if you
thing
want
now.
another ass whooping, it could be the Bank 2.0 all over again.
Let's go.
Character
Everyone-
development though, Tattletale held a conversation where she didn't get punched or almost killed at the end, so that's
I
good.
know. I'm so
Growth.
proud of her.
Growth. Yeah.
It's the little
Yep.
things.
The chat is saying
Still
how
call-
scary
still call it
Tattletale is.
Oracle.
Still.
Well, I mean that's her
Yeah.
name.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I don't know, the implications of being like, "Hey, I'm a villain. I'm only talking to you because we have that hometown relationship."
Yeah.
But really it's that implied threat of you shouldn't mess around with the villains in this area. Somebody will help them. Might be me. You don't want it to be me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think to point out something that Bernard said in chat too, I feel like based on this conversation and the conversation with the team, I think Tattletale is getting a lot of credit for things that Taylor did.
Yes.
mm,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
And I think it's ironic
And
because
Taylor
you know,
would have
we
wanted
obviously
it that way.
Taylor would have wanted
He
it that
would've.
way. And I think it's funny because yes, she is powerful and her power is scary, but it's funny to think of like, well, how could this have happened? Obviously, it couldn't have been the bug girl. It's like, has to be the thinker.
I love it so
Who
much.
told her
It's
to
so
do those
great.
things?
Yeah,
Well, they're
Not
like,
like
exactly,
she was smart
exactly.
enough.
Yeah, because like Victoria makes a couple when she comes back and she's talking to the team and she's like giving them the context. I can't remember what she says, but she says something along the lines of basically like, well, we don't know how it happened, but you know, A and then B and then C, and that's not a coincidence. And I'm like, yes, it was. Like, it's fun knowing like what actually happened. Like she talks about the leak, like all of the capes from
Empire 88.
Empire 88
Yeah,
getting
right,
leaked. And it's
right.
like that wasn't them. That was fucking Coil. Like
Yeah.
Fucking who?
I love it so much. It's so good. It's so good. It feels good to like be on the inside, to like know things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Fran points out, she did hold on to Brockton Bay sans Skitter for 2 years during the time skip.
She did.
That's
That's
true.
true. That's a
That's
good
true.
point.
But did
Good
she
point.
do that on the groundwork that Taylor built?
Well, yeah, but no, who knows that? Like,
Yeah.
Skitter wasn't the face of most of the conversations. She was just kind of like the,
Yeah.
person who
Skitter
also
was the
there.
boogeyman, I feel like.
Yeah.
Tattletale
Oh,
was the one who,
100%.
you know,
Absolutely.
Skitter, she
Yeah.
was the boogeyman of Brockton Bay.
In a parallel, very
you
much
know.
Love it.
Contessa and Dr. Mother almost, where like
Mm,
Contessa was the head of Cauldron. Like Dr. Mother didn't like Dr. Mother was a doctor who was good at whipping up vials.
He was the scientist.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the real person in
Love it.
charge was Contessa.
yeah.
Love
yeah,
it.
for sure.
Is. Contessa.
Mhm.
She's
Yeah.
still
Let's
around.
be clear. She's
That's
here.
right.
Somewhere.
I'm sorry.
Waiting.
I-
Waiting.
it's more so that is Cauldron still there?
Yeah.
Mm.
True.
I
Lurking,
really liked
ever
them
lurking.
talking about the rushing to make new Brockton. The idea of it might taint or distort it, especially compared to old Brockton Bay. And the more I was like rereading that paragraph over and over again, it felt like Wildbow talking directly to the fans about Ward and Worm.
Mm.
Like,
Mhm.
look, you don't want to
Kind of.
rush into this. You don't want to distort the image of the sequel series coming out. You can't look past old Brockton Bay into this new Brockton Bay without, you don't want to,
Yeah.
mess up the
Very
That's a
meta.
legacy.
good
But
reminder.
yeah, I thought it was a good.
I-
That was a good.
I do think it's funny too that just on a practical level, how she was noting like Brockton Bay kind of started to fall apart because of the way the shipping industry went, and New Brockton started out really good, but it's like hyper speed running that same problem where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, we're established now, we can just ignore Brockton Bay again, right?
Yeah.
we don't need it.
Fuck them.
So it's kind of an ironic, speed run mass poverty, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right,
God.
boys. All right, chat. We're gonna be speed running mass poverty. Going with the
Oh,
new Brockton
no.
starting area.
No.
Shipping is gonna be our main.
Shipping is all we do.
We're gonna go sub 2 years.
Oh man, new record.
Yeah.
Ugh.
New
All
record.
right. Well,
I did. I was just gonna say I don't know if Victoria actually got one over on Tattletale, but the fact that she recorded it seemingly privately without Tattletale's knowledge, but it's hard
But
to
she
know.
thinks-
Like, did Tattletale know she was
Tattletale
being
knew.
recorded? Tattletale
feel
probably
like-
didn't know.
Tattletale totally knew. She just didn't let on. Like
Absolutely.
she's like, yeah, there's a camera
Yeah.
there, and 4 of them are mine. Like,
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
I've hacked your feed already. I already have copies of this conversation in triplicate.
I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna watch you react to me calling you glory hole like 5 more times.
Put it on repeat. Turn it into a meme. Gosh.
Trending on new Earth Bet TikTok.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
being a follower in Tattletale's TikTok. Like it's just her dropping hot goss about other capes. Like,
Yeah. It's just a leak account.
guys,
It's just leaking
I don't
information.
know if you knew, but using my powers, I'm pretty sure that, Legend is having an affair. Boom, boom, boom. Don't ask me how I knew. It's just tattletale. See you next time.
Oh boy.
I like to
Yeah,
picture
it's
those-
just
those
hot goss
cameos.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like 2 weeks later, because like there's no proof, she's got no proof. But like 2 weeks later, there's like a whole incident where he does get caught, and it's just for
No.
those of you who watch Dan to Dan, like with the grandma who like predicts everything wrong for the dude, and then it immediately becomes true like a week later.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, she could call it tattle tea.
Oh, spill the
Tattle
tattle
tea.
tea.
That's good.
Spill
Ooh.
the tattle tea. Yep.
Tattletale's
All
tea
right.
spilling channel. Let's go.
Yeah,
3.2.
there you go. Anything else for 3.1? Oh, one small thing. I just like Victoria being like, redacted. You guys don't need to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenzie,
It's like,
I know you're watching right now. Don't.
yep. All right, 3.2. I also just side note there. Kenzie's like, I can redact things without paying too much attention, maybe. Like, you just tell me the timestamp and I'll delete it. That's what we do to Michael. Back when we didn't do it live, we'd be like, Michael, from this moment for the next 30 seconds, erase everything Alan says.
Write that down. Write that
And
down.
he never did.
Note the time. Note the time.
And then if
Oh,
you're a
silly.
patron, you get the whole unedited bit, even if we look horrible usually.
That's
There are a lot of sound clips that the patrons have access to that are rants that went on way too long and hard.
Oh dear.
That would hurt us in future job interviews. Probably.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm thinking
for
about
sure.
leaking all of
Had-
mine. I think I could find a career out of this.
Oh. Oh.
Yep.
if we ever disband, Alan's
remember-
gonna go full
Remember,
cringe.
your nudes
you go.
can't get leaked if you leak them first.
You think of yourself?
the
Yeah.
Alexan-
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Alexander Hamilton method of getting ahead of the problem.
Your
That was-
method
he
is
was,
gonna
like,
be to
really
get
early.
just famous enough that you're noticed. That if you do have something bad happen to you, then you'll get more famous. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. It's that sweet
Oh,
spot.
no.
That sweet spot.
Right. Okay.
There you go.
All
Perfect.
right.
Alrighty.
3.2?
Just
Yeah.
want to acknowledge William Doe. Tattles Tales would also be a good channel name for
Ooh.
Addles
Ooh,
Tales.
Addles
Love
Tales.
that.
Would be
Pretty
good.
good.
I approve.
All right, 3.2.
Excellent.
Vicky meets Kenzie's dad, helps move a camera, gets filled in on everyone's powers, meets Byron, and suggests a game of capture the flag. I feel like we could lump that in with 3.3, shall we?
Sure.
Yeah, the 3.3 is the capture the flag chapter.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. 3.3. Tree?
Tree.
The group plays Capture the Flag and discusses the results and their individual strategies. Rain arrives, Ashley gets frustrated and snaps, and Kenzie goes to talk with her. Yes, as Not So Certain has said, Kenzie's totally normal dad. Yeah, Kenzie's dad, bit off-putting, eh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
little bit. It was hard to figure out if he was like how much of him was just kind of well, at least she's got friends, you know. And it was hard to read him. I couldn't
She's
quite
getting
I
out of the
couldn't-
house.
Yeah, exactly.
At that age,
I got very big, like,
corners and staring at
tight-
the wall.
yeah. I got very, very big, tired of dealing with teenage daughter dad energy of like,
Yeah.
oh, she's gonna do something with somebody. Might as well be you guys, I guess.
So she's not
Hannah,
even
was that your dad?
teenage.
Yes.
No. I have a comment.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think we're all wrong.
Ah.
I
Okay.
think Kenzie's dad is a bot. I think Kenzie's family doesn't exist. I think she's made them. This is my theory.
Is
My
she the one who
theory.
made all the robots on the server?
All the
Mhm.
bots? Yeah. Uh-huh.
No.
I
Oh
think
my
I
god.
think I think we have a Night and Fog situation. Do you guys remember this back in Worm?
Mhm.
It's Night and Fog, right? Where they're sitting at the table in their, regular human normal personas, and they're going, "Oh, would you like some more coffee, dear? Here's your fresh set of pancakes." It's very Stepford wives.
Mm.
Like they're not, like, they know the roles
Yeah.
they're supposed to play, but they're so, like, they're not there. Like, lights not on upstairs. That is what I think. I've closed my YouTube channel, by the way. I'm not looking at the chat because I don't trust you guys anymore. So I that's what I think it is. I think that
That'd be
Kenzie's
fun.
family is not, they're like not real. Like, he's a real estate agent.
Mm.
No, he's fucking not. Like, we're in a post-apocalyptic world where we're struggling to get people to, like,
That's
be
fair.
building shit. There's not, like, free houses that he's gonna, like, "Oh, and you'll love this. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a garden tub." You catch my drift? Like, no, this man is not. That's not happening. This
He works-
man, when he's not chauffeuring her around with her giant washing machine cameras, he goes into sleep mode and sits in an alley somewhere. Like, I do not trust that these are live human beings.
Because he is
All right.
basically in sleep mode in that van.
I mean, basically,
would-
he's like a
That
self-driving
would
car.
imply Kinsey is maybe lying about her powers then,
You
Yeah,
think?
which kind of makes sense because
The
boxes.
group of
she's
people,
good
of
at the-
children in therapy, might be lying about their powers in past.
Yeah.
Wow. No, sorry, I didn't mean for that to be sarcastic against you, Nick. I meant that to be. I'm so set on this as what the plot
Yeah,
is.
I like your theory a lot. That's fun.
I'm leaving.
That does work. I mean, that'd be fun, especially because that would make sense too. That a tinker would. I mean, obviously everybody kind of hides their powers a bit, so
Yeah.
it makes sense that there'd be a little apprehensive to share everything. Be kind of fun.
I just
I
think
like
that
it.
there's something weird going on. Like, they're so specific about, like, her getting home to dinner on time and, like, routines, and she's like a kid, and it's kind of this idea, like, maybe the routines are important because she doesn't have anything else other than family dinner with the bots, you know?
Mm.
The rental
Man,
bots.
I wish I had family dinner with the bots. Instead, I have a real family.
Hey,
Jeez.
what am I? Chopped liver?
Hey, but liver. Some people really like chopped liver.
Okay, wow. My whole heart. Yeah.
I am torn because on the one hand, I like the idea of Kenzie having a pretty not helpful power. She can make giant, practically
Giant
immovable
cameras.
cameras. It was like, it's just
So
kind of
good.
fun. It's fun to try to figure out how to work with that. But on the other hand, it would make sense that that's not her only power. So
Beefaroni points out Victoria never said that Kenzie's dad wasn't suspiciously cube-shaped.
That's true. That's true. That's true. He's just
Why
a
is your dad shaped like a
Minecraft-looking
washing
ass
machine?
man.
Yeah, he was a real block of a man.
Is that Steve? Steve from the movie Minecraft?
All I can think of, Nick,
No.
though, is that Alex
Oh my god.
from our hall with his Minecraft?
Our friend Alex is very block shaped.
He had a Lego head. Yeah, he had a bit of a
Oh,
Lego
God.
head. We do love him though.
Now catching strays.
Yeah, you're catching so many strays, people they don't even know, and we'll never hear this.
I'll never know.
You'll never know.
If we're, but you know
Um,
what? In this
yeah.
chapter, especially in point 2, talking about how this moves a bit slower, I did think that we spent way too much time with Victoria moving that camera from A to B. Like,
Yeah.
it's like 3 paragraphs of her
Yeah.
lifting and moving the camera, and it's
And adjusting the ratchet strap.
and adjusting the straps and setting it down and flying over there. Like, I remember getting to the end of that. Like, it's still with me, being like, she just moved it. She's strong.
That was pointless.
I don't get upset so much with that because I actually kind of find that a little interesting. But you are right. That combined with all the other little things that just take a little bit too long
Yeah.
lead me to really not like 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. Yeah. This is my most hated section. And if we want to move ahead, I find the therapy group combat extremely boring.
I love Capture the Flag. I thought it was fun. I also love Capture the Flag in general.
That's I enjoyed it because it kind of harkened back to my like, I mean, we all who didn't play Capture the Flag for like hours as a kid. So it's kind of fun to relive those memories in the superhero environment. I do agree though. I did think, and it was fun seeing powers at play kind of for the first time, which is always, I always enjoy that. But yeah, I kind of agree with that one. I think overall, I did skim this fight a little bit, just kind of getting through it.
There's, for those of you who enjoy writing and hearing about writing, a channel called Hello Future Me does great little talks about different scenes of writing and stuff to write about. And one of them, they write about fight scenes. And in it, there's the description of sort of two ways of writing. One is a vibes-based fight scene. They rolled around on the floor, and eventually one of them came up on top. You know, your brain fills in the imagery. And the other is like blow by blow. He took his right hand and put it into the inside of the other guy's like left knee, which caused the cartilage to crack. And the problem with that second one is that while it is very descriptive, which is something that you want when you are trying to show off all of the unique powers and how they interact with each other and what they can do, it doesn't move at the pace of a fight. Instead, you get the 500 episode anime fight problem, which is like them doing one punch and spending 6 episodes talking about how we got to that punch and what that punch did and how it's important to the backstory. Like, it just doesn't have momentum. And so you need an equal bit, in this case, of very descriptive stuff to talk about like a power, you want it to notice it and have it appear. But then you really do want the things exploded. There was water everywhere. Ashley did a flip and exploded and shot herself back and almost got me. We can kind of figure out what happened in the in-between. We don't need to hear, and then her right leg touched the wall and she was at a 45-degree angle, not a 35-degree angle. 25 would be too little, but we don't need that. And unfortunately, I feel like this and honestly, this is why I kind of skim a lot of Wild Bow's fight scenes, is some of them can really fall into this overly descriptive category instead of getting the intensity and momentum of a fight in written word, which is, I think, really failed that bar when it came to my reading of it. And like Jacob said, I tried to read it really through. Most of the time I read this, I skim it because I'm like, I'm moving at the speed of the fight and I'm picking out nouns and verbs. And by the time I reach the end, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a really fun fight because I didn't read every single word. If I read every single word like I did this time, it's a really boring fight.
And we'll put a pin into, we'll get back to it because I think Wild Bow fixes this problem entirely in the interlude. The interlude fighting is
my God.
fantastic. Yep. It's so well written. So
Absolutely.
Like he didn't lose his touch. He gets it right back in a couple chapters. It's just a couple times.
Yeah.
I think I think it comes down to we'll get to that too, but the detail being overtaking the vibe of the fight and the detail being more important when it isn't. And I really do think that this comes in with I've said it before, with costume descriptions and how it feels really off to me. And we've talked about like, oh, well, Taylor's judgy, or oh, Victoria knows a lot about capes and therefore like she would know costumes. Like We see it in the interlude too. I'll get to that. But like, I think it's just that Wildbow, in certain parts of his writing, focuses in on the detail and like gets really like he sees it so clearly in his head. He wants us to see it just as clearly, and he gets way too in depth with the details, and by doing that he's lost some of us a little bit along the way, and that's where we start to skim, which again, if you want to know exactly where Ashley's foot was, exactly how she propelled herself and moved, like, as opposed to the vibe of the fight, which I feel like there are times when you just need to vibe the story and other times when you need the detail. Like, this is one of those times where they're literally playing capture the flag. It doesn't matter where Ashley's foot is. Like, what matters is that Ashley's really fucking fast. Faster than we expected. And how does that impact Victoria or make Victoria think about utilizing Ashley's power in specific ways? So like, I think that's probably that, to me, that's what feels like the issue.
I think for me, ironically, Capture the Flag was kind of the high point of the arc for me. Probably mostly because of the power showcase, not necessarily the actual Capture the Flag game.
Which I think is the point. I think this is if there were a time to be slow, to show powers off, to be noticing them in character even as Victoria, this is the time. She's seeing all these new powers for the first time, and hopefully this continues. But then from then on, she doesn't have to analyze. She doesn't have to analyze things. It's just, we know these powers, we know what they do. We can just, move on after that.
Speaking of powers.
Speaking of powers, we finally get to see some of them.
Also, speaking of powers, if you want to count this is a cattail for those of you playing Bingo.
I can't see it. It doesn't count.
I did see the cattail come down a second ago.
And away it goes.
Interestingly, Beefaroni says in chat that Wildbow has aphantasia, can't visualize mental images. So that's kind of an interesting thing. That's where he's mentioned it in a We've Got Ward interview. Beefaroni said.
We talked about that with our patrons a long time ago. Like, this is one of our first.
Well, we talked about aphantasia. I don't know if
it started because of this. I'm pretty sure, and then we got into talking about aphantasia because somebody in the conversation had it, and
that would make sense because that would make sense then for his writing style, because then. With me, kind of like you said, Alan, that vibes-based fighting, or vibes-based anything really, makes a lot more sense for people if you're reading it quickly and can fill in the details with your imagination. But if you struggle to fill in details with your imagination because mental images come harder to you or not at all, then it makes sense that you would be like, let me make sure I paint the clearest picture possible of what exactly is happening. I will say, the way that Wildbow writes would be like an animator's dream. Because you would not need to question exactly how to choreograph a fight. You'd be like, he did it already. Cool.
Yeah.
So
also, one of the reasons I'm going to give him a lot of shit about this is because this is my default writing style, is overly descriptive fight scenes, and I have to work hard to not do it. Also, for the record, I don't have aphantasia, but it made me think about, like, when I first heard about the concept, I thought about, like, I don't actually picture images in my head when I'm reading. Like, I have to sit and go, an apple, and, and then an apple appears. But when I'm reading, it is words on a page, and there is just kind of a train of thought, if you will. It's more rhythmic than it is imagery.
It's very different for me, too, if it's reading versus hearing the audiobook as well. Listening to an audiobook, I'm actually much more easily able to visualize what's going on. Whereas with reading, I'm kind of with you, Alan, where it's more like stream of consciousness, like I'm just following along. And then I can go back and be like, well, what would that have looked like, and imagine it in my head. But I'm not it's hard to know, because I think I am picturing it in my mind, but I'm not actively thinking about the picture, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a weird
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I
it
know
is
I
an
don't, I don't have,
active
definitely
effort
don't
for
have
me to
aphantasia though. I know that. I
to
can.
image something.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm fucking there. Like I can see it so clearly in my head. Like I'm watching a movie. Like that is if it's good writing, and
Mhm.
I don't like, because you can get stuck up on things where you're thinking about it and you're like, wait, okay, I'm confused. Like, but if it's good writing and I'm engaged with it, like I'm fucking there. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And as a side note too, I will say, if anybody ever tells you that listening to an audiobook isn't the same as reading,
They're
you should
liars.
tell them that not only is that not true, but audiobook listeners actually process more words than readers do, because readers do tend to skip around pages with their
Yeah.
eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're listening to an audiobook, you will hear every word that was in the book. So you
Unless you're
technically read
Hannah
more than people who read the
and
book.
you can't listen to audiobooks without totally zoning out for 3 minutes straight, and also listening to it on 1.4 or 5 speed, because audiobook readers talk so fucking slowly.
Oh yeah, you got to go at least 1.25 or not, if not
Yeah,
higher.
yeah, or higher, yeah.
Y'all are crazy.
The only time I didn't, the only
You've
time
got a
I
good
didn't do it,
audiobook person.
it depends. It depends. For me, I'm a consistent like 1.15 times. But the one time I did slow it down was I listened to a dramatized audiobook, and that you got to take at the pace it's given to you, because that's so much better. Anyways,
What was the one?
we're way off topic.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I want one more thing. The one
Last-
audiobook that I listened to slower was I'm Glad My Mom Died, because it's read by Jeanette McCurdy, and she reads so fucking fast. I had to slow that one way down.
Well, there you go. Speaking of powers, Jacob, thoughts on powers? You had a thought earlier, I think.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't have a
Uh,
thought other than just they were cool. Is all my thought was.
Which one
I
did you
really
like the
liked.
best, Jacob?
Yeah, I think Tristan and Byron, their ability to impact each other's powers is really fun, and it was like the creative brain in me was already like, okay, if I was writing this character, how would I have their powers interact with the world? So yeah, really interesting.
Yeah. The interaction between their powers is super cool. How one's making solid masses, one can make the masses liquid into water, and then they can make it solid again. Like it's just
Yeah.
super
I
cool.
forgot how big they can make those objects too. Because at one point in time, like Tristan makes a castle.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I got
That was-
defense, and he's like, castle out of the ground.
Yeah, I was like, just gotta draw
Oh,
this with
cool.
my like air Wiimote real quick. Woo!
Like all the different blocks and stuff that like lead up the hill.
Yeah.
So good.
I imagine that the little motes in the air are just the spinning lights from the PlayStation 2 intro, like that bounce around when you don't have the disc in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Team has way heavier hitting powers than the Undersiders. Yeah, absolutely. Let's any more powers we want to talk about while we're here other than Tristan and Byron?
I would say this group's powers are more akin to close to what the Travelers could do. I think the Travelers power wise were still much more powerful. But
Yeah.
it's whereas the Undersiders were tactical, sneaky. You've got the big hitters, right? Like you've got Chris's power. So he's got this weird mood altering transformation power, which is pretty funny. I like
Also,
that.
as a concept, a emotion changer. Like,
Yeah, very cool.
Yep, and he keeps a piece of that emotion that he takes on, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But I imagine that's I want to see his other forms, right? Like, what is
Me too.
what are his other emotion forms? He
It
has
is
names
not
for them all
capture the
too, which I
flag.
really like.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And then what do we get? I do like we see Sveta again, not new powers, but Kinsey makes the hologram. She's like, "How'd you get it?" And Sveta's like, "I just grabbed all of them."
So cool.
All the flags.
Love it. I love
Yep.
it.
Grab 'em all.
Like just brute it, like straight
Yeah.
brute
Yeah,
force
brute
it.
force.
That's
Yep.
so much.
Bernard points out, remember the two powers that Tristan and Byron have are based on their personalities, as you know, all the powers. But in this case, one is very rigid, and the other is fluid but frigid.
I like
Mhm.
it.
I like
Yep,
that.
yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sveta
and then
and Ashley
damsel
were
of
both-
distress.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Which I was gonna say,
Old
yeah, I've seen a
Ashley.
little bit of already, but cool to see in force again.
I up until I want to say one of the Iron Man, Civil War or Captain America Civil War with Iron Man. There was a move with powers that I really enjoyed watching in visual media, which is using explosives to change direction. Ruby,
Mm.
also the animated show,
Yes.
was incredibly good
scythe.
about this. The
Yeah.
scythe.
Mhm.
So
My
good.
favorite specifically about this with the change of direction is, and that's closer to this, is the shotgun gauntlets that, oh my gosh, Yang has, where at one point in time she like misses a punch and uses the shotgun blasts the arm
Like,
to
bam.
drive her elbow into the dude, which is like really cool, like using, and that's essentially what our girl Ashley is doing all around the place, is using the explosive power that she can put off to alter direction. And like, she's not a speedster, she can just explode her body forward and
Right.
then retro thruster it and then boom and hit. And that's not so certain, but she is a blaster, like that's it, but she can use her power like a mover, where she is literally blasting her way over
Yeah,
to you and then
that's
using
sweet.
it to blast around the field.
Yeah, she
It's a
must have
very
some
fun.
kind of higher durability, I imagine, than the average person too. That must be a tertiary power she has, because
Yeah.
I mean, obviously she's immune to her own power because of the Manton effect, but
Mhm.
more so than that. I mean, we see the consequences of it. She kind of falls hard and takes a hard hit, but still is able to get up. And so I remember, I remember her though still seeming a bit more durable. And I think even Victoria commented like she's a bit more durable than you might expect, using
Yeah.
her power so recklessly.
She is rocket jumping,
No.
William,
Yeah,
which
She-
I,
straight
along with
Halo
that,
rocket jumping.
she is rocket jumping and taking what feels like a little bit of the damage because of that, not from the explosion, but like you said, when she lands and she doesn't, retro thruster that, she ends up off balance and tripping up. And she uses, at one point in time, I believe she uses her explosive with her hand to like right herself because she
Yeah,
kind of knocks
yeah.
herself over a little.
I mean, OG
2+4
Damsel
thinks they
taking-
have a Bigo.
Yeah. That was just to your point. Wasn't the original Damsel taking hits from Armor's Master and Dragon before getting got? So like had some good durability.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think she took. I don't think she was hard for them to beat, though.
Oh, it looks
If
like
I
we have a
remember right.
bingo.
Already? Oh
It
no.
looks like 2
Oh, wow.
plus 4 times 5 has a bingo. I have 3 here. Which one am I missing? Let's see. It looks like Tattletale Hype, Cat
Mhm.
on Screen, Tattletale Hate, and what the fuck is with Chris's power?
Okay.
Very
All right.
nice, very
Yeah.
nice.
I'll
I'll
give it
I'll
to him.
it
I don't
to
know
him.
if
Yeah.
I don't know if we quite hit what the F about
Yeah.
Chris's power. I feel like we're
Yeah,
more
I
just
feel like
it's
we
cool.
we just kind of talked about it
But
briefly.
we'll give it to you.
I'll
We'll
give
give
it
it
to
to
you.
We did hit the vibe of that one though.
We really did.
Yeah. It's a funky one. For sure.
All right.
Yeah. Very
Very
interesting.
nice, very nice.
I feel like we need, for future reference, we need full cat on screen, not tip of tail cat
Fair
on
enough.
screen. That seems
Here's
very-
Fair
the
enough.
problem: is that cat, Lord Beckford? Oh, and his leg is just sticking like
Ah.
right, dangling right here. His little sleepy spot is right here off screen. And so most of the time we see him at some point in time come up and down this. And we've
Okay.
even had Bird, the other cat, come meowing just
I
through the
heard her.
room.
I
Yeah, she
heard
was
her.
dragging her toy around, so pitiful, and like sat here for a while and just looked at me longingly. But the things I do
Funny.
for the patrons had to ignore.
There you go.
Wow, that's dedication.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Um,
As far as the
uh,
capture the flag game goes itself, the results we had Ashley. One of the interesting explanations they talked about is that because Ashley is a clone, she and because of the way Bonesaw made the clones,
hmm,
she doesn't have any of the good memories that Damsel had before she went towards the Slaughterhouse 9.
Right.
So apparently, this was mentioned in multiple places, but it sounds like Damsel maybe was about to take a turn towards the good guys, or at least, turn away from a life of crime when the Slaughterhouse 9 came into town, and she ended up kind of jumping in with them. We don't know exactly why she did. She was kind of a B, C list here villain. They were just recruiting kind of anybody who would come with them at that point. And so we don't really know why she did. And then she died so quickly, we never really saw her in action.
Yeah.
yeah. There's an
So
interesting thought with that, where like
yeah,
not just that, but because they're essentially given the same traumatic events and negative stuff without the positives in order to keep the passenger almost intertwined with the genetic code,
mhm,
and the same personality for that power set. We uh, Ashley is much more passenger than other people are.
yeah, yeah,
Very much in the same way that like Bonesaw was a lot more passenger than human, and Glastig for sure and for certain was essentially a
Right.
person
Ooh.
riding along
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
with a passenger, not the other way around. Um, so the Ashley Glastig, uh, uh, parallel there, where you have somebody who's trying to separate themselves almost from their power, and um, the whip part is human and whip part is passenger,
Yeah.
and the way that she was made is essentially they're the same thing, but um, yeah, hard to deal with that.
Yeah, because they talk a little bit about that, about how I think Kinsey maybe mentions how she feels like she's talking to whatever's inside of her when she's talking to Ashley. And so she's trying to be nice to Ashley because she's like, maybe then it'll be nice to me, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like,
Aw.
you've got a little alien living in your brain. And for her, she's just a clone of who she
Yeah.
once was, not even having the real memories, not, like we said, Bonesaw cutting out the good memories just to leave the trauma. I mean,
You
she's
gotta fuck with a
technically only
person.
been alive for a few years, you know?
Yeah, I would say I
Yeah.
don't even know if we talk about cutting them out. I don't even know if she had anything to cut out, because you basically dumped like, I need trauma that's really akin
Yeah,
to
exactly.
hers. So that's all we
Exactly.
need. We just need the trauma. So she is a personality entirely built on the bad stuff that I could find.
And it's kind of funny too how then she has that fatalistic attitude towards becoming a villain, where she's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a villain. Like, that's just what I
Yeah.
am. And it does make you wonder, okay, like, how real is this clone? Is this seems to be a real person, but are they kind of on this one lane path based on the way they were made, or can they change and be a good person? We'll see.
Yeah.
It's funny, even while reading, I forget that she's a clone. Completely and utterly forget.
Oh yeah.
Because, she's just annoying. Well, I mean, I say annoying. I mean more of just like
She is.
she is annoying. Her very like, I'm gonna stomp off and sit on that rock.
Yeah. Let's
Like,
keep
'cause I'm
bullying the
lost.
2-year-old. Thank you, Fran.
I know, that's the thing. I
Yeah.
forget that she's still.
This toddler.
Yeah, like it's easier to give people a pass if you like know their background or you know their history, because like, okay, well, they've been through a lot, like we can give them a pass, or like be more kind or considerate. I keep forgetting that Ashley is only 2-3 years old. Like she's a baby
Mm.
clone because
How-
she just comes
Yeah.
across as like she's so like jaded and incredibly opinionated and stubborn. That's like, ah, yes, you have the stubbornness of a full-fledged human being, not a 2-year-old clone, which makes sense of how she was created. But like, I forget. Like I forget really easily. It's a good reminder, like for me going forward. But
Yeah. It's a shame Taylor's not there. She has a really good ability to bully toddlers, as we learned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take care of that toddler real quick.
oh no.
3.45. I forget where we're on.
3.4. I feel like we can kind of wrap 3.4 and 3.5 together. It's a lot of talking, but I think they're kind of related. So,
Yeah.
but it's up to you guys.
Well-
If we want to split them, we can.
Well, there's a difference because 3.5 is
Yes.
interesting and 3.4
and 3.4
sucks.
is boring as fuck.
Some of the worst writing.
All right.
Nick,
No.
why don't you read your
3.4.
summary for 3.4?
I'll read
Yeah.
3.4. 3.4. Oh, what a tangled heroic web we weave when first we practice to deceive. The group decides on their focus.
Yeah, that boring. We talked for
It was a lot of
whole
talking.
chapter. Oh.
Yeah, this is the most ambiguous language used with the most verbosity, and
I hated it.
it
so
didn't
much.
need to happen. We could have skipped
Oh.
straight to 3.5 and nothing would have changed.
I
Speaking of more interesting things, 3.3. Rain talks about his power, but he doesn't. What
Oh,
did he?
Yeah.
Did he do anything? I'm trying to remember. He did something, but I'm trying. I know
Well,
he
remember
talked
he
about
shows
it.
up. He shows up late,
Yeah.
He shows up late.
and
I remember
then
that.
he shoots his little laser thing into rocks, and
That's
Kenzie-
right.
then
Smacks it. 20
it
pounds
shatters.
of force. 20 pounds of
Yeah.
force.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Which
right.
is
That's right. That's.
super badass as a power.
That's pretty fucking cool.
I hate
That's
that he's
pretty
like,
cool.
that's not that good. Let me just
That's
blow
not
up
that
this
good.
rocket.
It's excellent. It's excellent.
He comes in and
Really?
he's bringing his little gauntlets and he's just like, oh, these are gonna break immediately. I
Yeah.
just know it. They're these worthless little pieces of scrap.
Yeah, because they can't even pick up like what 10 pounds or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like somebody who just got like shoulder surgery. It's like, oh, let me just
Yeah.
and that's the only thing he can make. So it's like good for like what? Honestly,
strong hand.
yeah, fun
Yeah.
practical thing. It could like hold stuff for you while you're working on things. Like that's
true.
cool. In terms of combat, kind of sucks.
But yeah, the laser power though, yeah, that was the thing
Laser
where he
power
was
is
like,
fantastic.
I mean, it's not quite scrub level, but like it's not bad, like. I
Oh, I
love
was
too.
thinking,
Victoria's just casually like, so like, can you cut the earth in half? Basically, is what she
Yeah.
says.
Yeah.
The question
Like,
we
I don't know, I've
always
never
have.
tried. Hey Kenzie, go stomp on that
I mean,
line for a second.
I
Let's
know,
hope the
what
planet
would've-
doesn't disintegrate.
I feel like that was a bold move for Victoria to just be
Really
like,
was.
well, cut through the ground and let's see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, might
Come
as
on,
well.
Victoria.
Also, they're
and
like
he-
on a hill behind the library.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you could
And
cause.
he's cut people or animals in half. He said, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cut the
Sheesh.
goat. Was it a goat? Oh yeah,
I
because
think it
the
was a
goat
goat.
jumped up on the tire and it was fine, but when the goat jumped down off the tire, the goat was not fine.
Fell in half.
Oh, it's horrid. It's fine. I mean, look,
All
at
right,
least we know that
Rain.
it works. But like
him and
the-
Fault Line would be a dangerous duo.
yeah,
Oh my god.
really would.
I mean, you've already got a pretty dangerous duo with him and Victoria. Like he,
Yeah, true.
puts him on the tee and then she just busts everything. Because
I'm thinking
it can
Victoria
work on-
or Rain and Ashley too. Like,
well, actually,
Yeah.
yeah, would also be just wild. Yeah, the two of them, really hard hitting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember Fran when they asked Dinah about like, well, can he cut the world in half with the jack slash? Like,
Yeah.
how long
I
can the blade
remember
go?
that conversation. They're like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Gosh.
And they were like, he can't
Some
end the
Sephiroth
world.
looking
Well, what if he
motherfucker over
cut
there.
the world?
And
Maybe.
it ended up being so much worse than that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
In a way, he
yeah.
Yeah, 3.4 though, they basically just decide to be intel collectors,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
they sell it to other people. Okay, cool. Moving on.
So useless.
3.5.
Chapter. I think
All
I
right,
skimmed that whole
3.5
one.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with moving on. The team wraps up and packs away, discussion on personal issues and planning. Ashley is similar to Victoria. Mark drops in on Vicky and Crystal and fills them in on some things.
Kick us off.
Mhm.
I love Rain's talk about people offering to help.
Mm-hmm.
Having worked in ministry for a little bit, uh, that is something that you always feel obligated to offer your help to people. Oh, hey, I'll stop by, yada yada. And when you make those, promises, and everybody knows that you're not going to, that you don't mean to, and you might genuinely even mean to, but it's inconvenient. It doesn't happen. And when you say that you're going to and you don't, even if everybody knows that, it just doesn't feel like good. There's like some trust or something lost. And I've made it a point, like Rain talks about, like you just say something you can do for them in the immediate, say something that you can do that's definite and like a one-time thing, and then you can re-up that the next time. You like don't make promises you can't keep. Don't offer to keep helping somebody when it's going to fade out. And I
Mhm.
I really really resonated with Rain talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole like, I'd rather you actually come help me when it matters than help me now and realize how inconvenient it is, and
Yeah.
then not help me later when it really matters.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Which,
that's
Victoria knows something about that.
I feel like because of just how much this group has gone through or has assumedly gone through, because there's so much we still don't know, it is built in such a way that like someone says something and everyone else is like, yeah, we know, like we fucking get that. Like if you're gonna have a group that's better tuned into each other and like what that means, it's this fucking group. Like that I was thinking the same thing, like when he's talking about that, like Victoria was stuck in the hospital or wherever the facility for so long, literally just waiting for her mom to visit. And like is it here or is it, I think it's later, it's in point 6 when Sveta says something about that, like you are mad waiting for your mom to visit, you are mad when she was there, and you were mad if she didn't come at all. So it's like you were like, it sucks, the whole thing sucked, everything sucks. And like they know what that feels like. And the fact that Victoria hears him say that and is like, I got you, I understand, and then still chooses to like keep an eye on him, like I liked that. I thought that was good.
yeah. Yeah, and yet Victoria does still follow him anyway for a bit just to be on the safe side.
But it feels like, it doesn't feel like she hasn't told him like she's going to. Like this isn't like an obligation anymore. It's like for her own, I don't even want to say sanity, but like for her own conscience, that she's
her
going,
own conscience,
that she's gonna,
yeah.
that she's gonna keep an eye on him.
It's because she is a good person, I think, right? Like I think the flip side of this is that for Rain, what he doesn't realize maybe, and this is rare, so a lot of people maybe don't have it, is that when you have a genuine friend, they will make the effort to always help you, right? Even if it is difficult every time. And I think that there are a lot of people that don't get that. They don't have that experience of somebody who is willing to help you no matter what. Like I remember, like my parents live in Georgia, and with our first pregnancy after the birth, my wife had some health scares, and my mom drove up from Georgia almost unprompted to come help us. And like, when you feel, and I know that's a mom thing, not a friend, but we've also had friends who've just come and help us at different times, just out of the blue or without hardly any prompting. They're like, hey, we heard this happened, we're coming over with something to help you. I don't know. And I think that's probably a lot of it, is that a lot of these people haven't had that kind of relationship with anyone, and that's very sad.
Yeah. I would even argue that not all moms would do that either. And like,
Yeah, true, yeah.
Victoria's mom sucks. So
yeah. Also, as an aside, welcome to Vic. Welcome to the stream. Glad you're here.
Vic.
Hey.
As Beefaroni said, you would be mad all the time too if Carol Dallin was related to you.
Yeah, for real. I'd be upset
Yeah,
always.
probably. I also don't want to miss or not acknowledge 2 + 4 said cutting the world in half would just add a new tectonic fault line, but the planet's gravity would still hold it together. And I just reject that scientific logic and want to imagine an anime where they cut the world in half. So
I'm with
just
Nick.
let me have nice things. 2 + 4.
Yeah, don't throw science at us, okay? Don't give me gravity nonsense. No.
Logic. To...
What's the meme? He's out of line, but correct.
Yeah. But he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vic just sorry,
Carol
Vic just
Vic says
Vic,
Carol is the anti-MILF. Yeah.
Oh my
Wait, what'd you
gosh.
say?
Yes, absolutely.
Carol is the
Carol is the
anti-MILF.
anti-MILF.
Yeah.
She's a bit more of a milk, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A milk.
Mother I'd like to kill.
Yep. No, if there was I think somewhere later I wrote, oh man, if I had a gun. It's like if
Coil sniper?
coil sniper.
Coil sniper.
I would like to, if I did say smash for Carol during our Smash or Pass Patreon special, I would like to retroactively rescind that.
I would like to redact.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that back.
Like a retraction.
Yep.
I was gonna say I
Let
can
the
find
record
out, but we'll
show
let the
that I was a
patrons go.
fool.
Yeah,
Let
Michael,
the patrons go in.
I need you to re-edit that video. Take that out, put a little censor. We were wrong to have
I'm trying
ever
to
said
think
that.
now of like what would be the worst fuck, marry, kill that we could include Carol in to make it an actually tough decision. We'll come to
Kenzie's
that
dad.
later. But... Kenzie's dad.
It's just parents.
Victoria's
Danny.
mom.
That's what I want it to be. I want it to be all
Don't
parents. I
dare
want it to be all
put Danny
parents.
on that list. No, I'm trying to think of one
Danny
more
is best
terrible
boy.
parent.
Terrible
or like
parent.
weird parent. That
I
we
mean,
could throw in there.
Heartbreaker could be on there, but he's the only one with powers.
Heartbreaker.
He's also
worse.
dead.
He's also dead.
Yeah, well.
Well, listen.
Okay,
I'm sure we'll run into a parent at some
Michael's face.
Yeah,
Just
we'll run into
Michael
more
being
parents.
so over our bullshit.
Sorry. Oh, is it so obvious? Oh no. Yeah.
Good. Speaking of parents, though, we get a good little Marky Mark scene where he apologizes to Victoria, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Mark gets a pass.
I appreciate. Yeah, he gets a bit of a pass. He's a bit of a sad boy. He gets a sad boy.
He is the definition of sad boy.
I don't know if I want to give him a pass just yet. We'll let him sit on hot coals for a little bit longer.
Was
and
it
then
Mark?
We'll give him a pass.
Is it Mark in Amy's interlude in Worm where she's? Is it Mark who she fixes his brain?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Because she said she wouldn't, because she doesn't do brains, but she's totally fine fucking her sister.
That's why he gets a pass for that scene.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on. Like, because he comes out swinging as soon as he
really does. Like he just and he has the whole thing about like your mom is very convincing, and I wanted to believe that there was a possibility here. Like I wanted to believe it so badly. I was willing to look past the fact that like we don't trust your mom. I do feel for him.
He simps for her.
He's a real Nels.
He needs to get. What did you just say, Alan?
I said he's a real Nels.
No, absolute no. Are we talking about the same Nels? Because no.
Yeah.
It's a Little House on the Prairie.
Okay, yeah. Someone needs to explain.
Nels
nerds.
We lost all of our listeners.
Sometimes.
What'd you say? Our
viewer Nels stands up sometimes.
Occasionally, he has a backbone. He finds
just crashing.
Anyways, no.
Also, Vic,
Sorry.
we're in Arc 3 right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the middle of Arc 3. We're about
not
to
in
read
Arc 4. yet. We'll get there in a future time.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yep. I just appreciate that he does apologize, and I think that
yeah.
that
That's true.
is something that just generally for parents is a difficult thing to do, especially parents of that age that he is.
Yeah.
And he is willing to at least say, I understand you're still mad at me. You should be. I was wrong. I let myself believe something that wasn't obviously true, and I'm very sorry.
He's
And
so straightforward about it.
I do
love
appreciate. That's what I like about it. Is he's like, yeah, I screwed up. I messed up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. But then he's also like, so you're doing this team thing. You know who you should talk to about that, right?
Upsetting.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean,
So
like, yeah, I
upsetting.
know.
He's right.
it's
but
rough
upsetting.
because it's like, oh, how many lawyers do you know in the superhero world? And it's like, bangs head against table. I know, like, there's a one. It's literally the superhero lawyer person. Like,
Yeah. Vic, we did kind of answer that a little bit at the beginning, but I didn't realize, yeah, the bank robbery was Worms Arc 3. So again, comparison of pace. We were
Yeah,
talking
right.
at the
Oh my
beginning
gosh,
about
are you
how, like,
serious?
Yeah.
yeah. Comparison of pace, we're like, Ward is way slower. We're into it, but it's
Much
much
slower.
slower, and we're taking a bit more time.
and more words too. Like,
more words to get there. Oh, yeah, right.
like, yeah.
Yeah, many
Oh,
more words.
no.
Well, there you go. All right. Anything else about 3.5?
Let's see. I think we talked before. This is mentioned before, but oh no, we skip that. I love the line, "I'm cursed with the impulse to help people. It's an epidemic."
Yep.
Yeah. I thought that was fun, and then just talking about all the cool, like, villain places that they could stake out, and one of them's called the Tea Shop,
Yeah.
which I'd like to think is Tattletale's base of operations, but
I mean, now it is.
I
Now
love
that we've already used the pun.
We've established
So,
already.
yeah.
The Tattle Tea.
you can get your Tattle Tea merch.
Oh, does that need to be a new T-shirt?
Tease
could
in
be a
chat
new
if you know what I'm talking about.
A
Do I need to
tattle
make a
t-shirt.
new Tattle
Yeah.
T-shirt, and it's Tattle's Tea House.
Put 2 T's in chat for Tattletale.
Yeah.
Tease in
TT.
chat.
We
They're
need
behind.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's gonna be my thing being like, boys, spoilers, like being like, tease in chat, come on.
Yeah.
Love it.
See, if that's the case, and there's a spoiler in the chat, I say like tease in chat, we should just flood the chat with just the letter T. That way it like moves up and out of sight.
Just a million
Tease in
T's.
chat quick.
That's funny.
Oh,
There's
There you go.
there's like a tea emoji, right? Like a little teacup emoji too. You could just do a bunch of
Yeah,
tea emojis.
There's the
Probably is.
T's. There we go. Oh, come on.
Hey, people
Yeah,
do it.
see,
There's
they-
the
they
T.
get it.
Hey.
Thank you. Thank you.
they,
Yeah.
there's so many fun ways to
Oh.
do it. Like, I feel
started
like you're like,
to-
oh yeah, TT, and then it's like TT.
Mm.
All right, next chapter.
There we go. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Go to the top. To the top. We can take it to the top.
Oh my god. I was gonna say
To
one
the
other thing.
moon.
To the
These diamond tees. Yeah, that's all I had for 3.5.
gun and ice cream shop.
And before that, we
Uh-huh.
see the fun use of the momentum power, where he just gets off the train and just stops.
Oh yeah, that.
Love
yeah.
that power. Love that fun use of power right there.
Pretty good.
God, I
Ooh,
Mm.
somebody's got the copper. Oh, Vic with the proper copper pot for tea. Reminds me of
Very nice.
the song "All I Want Is a Proper Cup of Coffee," made in a proper cup of coffee pot.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Proper
There
cup
you go.
of coffee in a
I may be off my
Copper.
dot, but I want a proper coffee in a proper copper pot. Iron coffee pots and tin coffee pots, they are no use to me. If I can't have a proper cup of coffee in a proper cup of coffee pot, I'll have a cup of tea.
How do we mute Alan?
Come on. Come on, that was great.
No, it was Alan. I was impressed. I was singing along in my head a little
impressive.
bit slower than you, but
So
3.6.
3.6.
Also, we are
3.6.
one short of T's to the top. Can I get one more T?
For me, they're all the way to the top.
I mean, they're past the top.
Ah.
line, too.
There we go.
To the moon. Let's go.
To the moon. Yeah. All right, Nick.
Alrighty.
To the
3.6. The team visits the warden's office
Oh my gosh.
fortress for the first time. Oop. The deals are done, the targets are set, and fights with old teammates do not happen.
Thank the Lord.
Bernard reminding us about the heartbroken children making that one guy at the end of or
Oh, that-
do the
I'm a
I am a little
little
teapot.
little
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
Range mover power from 2+. Range mover power should be the opposite. Oh, it's -2 because it's the opposite of movering.
I love it.
It's removering, you might say.
Oh, snap.
Uh,
Snap.
Anyways.
Real
Womp womp.
demoverating.
Okay, we can move on. Yeah, 3.6. We've got the fortress. We've got Moonbeam. I'm sorry, Moonsong.
Moonbeam!
Sorry.
Moonsong.
I'll admit that I have one
who-
mind.
Yep. I love basically they go in there, Moonsong walks out and she just looks right at Tristan and is like, "You bitch." It's like immediately aggressive.
Oh, fast too.
Who's the other guy with them who's like, what? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember names.
What's his name? Trinity or something?
Oh, Bernard, to explain the Moonbeam thing, Moonbeam is a spell in D&D. It calls down a massive beam of light from
Like a
the
pillar of
skies.
light. It's magical.
Yeah, and
I love it. It's one of my favorite spells.
It's a great spell, and it's a memory for us when somebody cast it at a particular moment in a campaign that we were all in. So
It's very satisfying
you
to
just
yell
have to
Moonbeam.
holler.
Yeah.
You have to
It's fun to
holler
yell.
Moonbeam.
yell Moonbeam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Vic might be the only one who knows this. Vic, it's a moonbeam in the Black Hand, but the dragon, it's moonbeam. That's what that is. Just letting you know. We may continue. Sorry.
Very nice.
So many side quests today.
Who?
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a shorter arc,
let's-
Michael. We got
It's
it.
all good. It's
I
all
love
good.
Kenzie's anti-picture countermeasures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, her little glitchy thing. That was another reason why I was
Yep.
like, something's up with Kenzie. There's more going on that we know about.
You got to turn it off. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that she had to turn off her power. Her like she's got a face
Oh, yes.
thing. Like
Yes.
that. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the paparazzi catcher. You know. Also,
We've
let's
got
see.
some-
I would kill Carol in a heartbeat.
I was
Is
just
it-
looking back through the arc to see who the name of this other character is. As I was scrolling, I saw they've got statues of key members. So we've got people we know: Chevalier, Narwhal, Valkyrie, Legend, and Miss Militia. So we know those. But Stonewall and Top Flight, I don't know that we've
I
encountered.
don't think
if
we've
I
ever
recall.
even heard
don't think
those
so.
names before.
Yeah.
Also,
Tribute.
Yeah, I
Thank you
didn't know them.
for Tribute is the name of the other cape.
Yes.
That was his
I
name.
was close with Trinity. Starts with a T.
And then yeah, we've got I like the display boards for each of the teams that are kind of under the wardens. So
Yeah,
we've got the
that was
advance
cool.
guard, the foresight, the attendants, the shepherds, and then smaller teams like Kings of the Hill, Wayfinders, and Navigators. All I can think of with Kings of the Hill is the show King of the Hill. And I just imagine it's like 4 heroes standing outside of a very small territory, just drinking beer and going, "Yep, yep,
Yep.
yep."
Didn't we see the Kings of the Hill because they're like the Texas? Aren't they the Texas-based group that has Young Buck?
That was just the Texas wards. We don't know if that's
Okay.
them again, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It
You're
could be,
right.
it could be.
Young Buck feels like he would be the rookie on the Kings of the Hill team. Young Buck, get
Yeah.
over here. You
It's
see,
good.
they're all, of course, they got their beers, so they're like, we need to do a patrol. You take the quadrant round clockwise, and we'll go up the middle, and we'll meet back right here.
Young Buck, take Clay Pigeon with you.
As Vic said, that hero ain't right.
That hero ain't right. That hero ain't right. Yeah.
Also, Alan, did you
we'll-
say? Did you
Yeah,
say
we'll pretend you said
clockwise?
clockwise. We'll pretend you said that.
Yeah, we'll pretend you said. Yeah, you said clockwise.
Is that not what I said?
Michael and I both looked at each other and made faces, so
It
I
was
don't
a
think
bit of a cockwise. It was a bit of one of those.
situation.
You're going
yeah.
a clockwise rotation.
I do.
God
I
damn
do
it,
love
God
that.
Bobby,
damn it,
can't
Bobby!
join the
You can't join the
Slaughterhouse
Slaughterhouse 9.
Oh,
Kill the
love it.
clowns.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
And then I
God
love the
damn
little
it,
gift
Bobby.
shop. I love the gift shop conversation too, where they're like, Tristan's like, "Oh, is Weld getting a statue?" Sveta's like, "No, but he's got some stuff in the gift shop," and he's like, "Oh, we're going to the gift shop later, aren't we?"
So great.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Let's see. Back to Carol.
Oh,
You
way
know,
to bring it down.
it's ups and downs here on out.
Oh gosh, she was doing fine. She was fine.
So
She
close.
was keeping it
So
civil.
close.
She was keeping it professional, and then she fucking threw in the.
Had
I
to
want
say
to sit down
something.
with your sister. Yeah, well, you know what I want to sit down with? A shotgun. That's what I want to sit down with.
Yeah.
Not
The
happy,
worst.
Carol.
I'll say I wrote down, they were talking about, hey, I might get you somebody to like help out. I have crossed my fingers and hoped in my heart of hearts.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What? Yes, Hannah?
No,
Do you know where I'm
continue.
No,
Yes,
no.
I
I want
think
to hear you say it. I want to hear you say it.
I want it to be our boy.
I want it to
Taylor's
be
lawyer.
Kaye.
Yeah, Kai.
I want it
That's
to be
Yeah,
Kaye
yeah.
so
want
bad.
so bad. He was so great. I loved him so much. I believe, even if he doesn't become their lawyer, that he's like retired to a nice beachfront property somewhere, helping people, being lovely, just doing good, doing the Lord's work. Because he's
Mr. Kaye was sleeper the whole time.
He can
Just
like
off on
put
his
his
own
power
planet
over
now.
there and then leave. Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
gosh.
That's funny. Yeah,
he's a
I do.
peach. It would be lovely
Like I-
to see him again.
Like I said, I really kind of what I want is a book where it's basically just Dr. Yamada and Mr.
Yeah.
Kaye doing stuff with heroes, but it's a legal drama and a psychological drama.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that's
Can
I love
can
that.
I get once again, Law and Order PRT would be the best show imaginable.
Yeah, it would be so good. Law and Order.
Can I get? Is there a Kissing Kaye fanfic? Can somebody confirm? Is there a Kissing Kaye fanfic? And
What
if
does that
not,
mean?
do I need to write it?
I mean, yes.
I just need to
What?
know if it's out there already or if I need to get on that.
I mean, probably both.
While they answer, all I can think of is Caillou, unfortunately.
I was thinking
I
the
hear-
Oh,
same thing.
don't.
Michael, I got
I-
you. I was thinking the same
I
thing. You
I
can't
wish I
help it.
wasn't, but it's in there. It's too similar.
It's in the old noggin.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to hear about that. See, "Fuck You, Moon Song." That's a good
Yeah,
one.
fuck Moon Song. Gosh, what a.
Vic, would you guys watch a show called Everybody Hates Carol? No, because then I'd have to
Yes.
see Carol.
Oh, actually, you know,
Yeah, true.
Alan has a point. Alan has a point.
Then it gives her more screen time. We don't need that.
Yeah.
No,
She
Is it-
doesn't
none of
need.
that.
Yeah, no, she doesn't need more attention. She needs a good shaming and then put her in the corner.
Shame. Shame.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah. 2+, we're gonna get to Wildbow's opinions on Caillou. I would love to hear those.
What?
If that's real.
That's real. That's hilarious.
Please tell us, I guess.
Yeah, I need to know that
Yeah.
immediately.
You type that out. We'll get back to that in a second. Do we want to have anything more on Moonsong, or are we past that?
I
Yeah.
I think we should talk about it a little bit. since this is the most screen time or page time that Byron has had up to this point, I love how like chill he is. He's super quick to be like Moonsong, like, while I appreciate it, I'm fine. Please, can you calm down? Like, he seems like he just really doesn't want to be bothered. He doesn't want to be considered in terms of what's going on here. Like, he's stuck in the sidecar at this point. Like, he doesn't really want to be involved, invested. And it's like, Moonsong has drawn him out into this now. And I understand she's trying to make sure he's okay. But, like, she needs to chill. Leave him alone. I mean, I'm glad I get to see him, but, like, leave him alone, please.
Yeah, it's your reaction the other night was very different. This is
What
very
did I say?
subdued.
This is so much more subdued.
I believe what you said was
chapter-
this Byron, this Byron,
is
oh,
what I
this
said.
Tristan, but this Byron, I think it was something like
That's
that.
I just finished the
Very
chapter. I was like
impassioned.
tucked in bed. I was like really passionate about it. Here's the thing.
Bernard, I'll summarize the Wild Bokayu thing in a second.
Okay. I'm not gonna go into the long tirade that I went into the other night about like taking the different people and putting them over here.
I think you should.
Okay, the shortened version is we already know about Sveta. Put her over here. Ashley, cool, but also like she's just mad and angry all the time. Okay, put her over here. Chris seems great, but his power seems like relatively monstrous, and that's cool. Okay, great. We'll find out stuff. Okay, fine. Put him over here. Who does that leave? That leaves. Okay, Rain's being hunted. Great. Put him over here. Kenzie? Okay, interesting. Kenzie, what's going on with Kenzie? I don't know. Okay, we'll move Kenzie over here.
Yeah.
Tristan Byron. I am so
I'll be back in a quick
thirsty.
sec, hang on.
Okay. Oh, Nick, I'll just keep ranting for a second. Tristan Byron, I'm like so thirsty in a non-sexual way for their story. Like, I want to know what the fuck is going on, and I want to know what happened. And like, I'm convinced that there's like when Miss Yamada was like, oh, we gotta worry about somebody in the group, we were all like, oh, it's Ashley. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's Kenzie. Maybe it's fucking Capricorn. Like, maybe they're the issue. This is my red string. So maybe it's them the whole time. Like, maybe they're the ones you have to worry about. Like, Tristan seems all nice and all, but what if he isn't? What if Tristan is a total sociopath? Like, we saw something the fuck is going on. And then this was where I had my thought earlier, which Nick brought up about the whole, maybe he was the one who hired the hitman. Like, oh my gosh, like, what the fuck? So like there's some weird shit going on. So like to have Byron on page, like, oh fuck yeah, like Alan said, morsels. I'm hoovering it up. Give me the crumbs. Like, I fucking love this. I love having Byron on page. I need more of it because he's like, there's shit going on. Like there's so much shit going on. Like, I must know. I must know. But yeah, I was like ranting and raving. Was that last night?
Fantastic.
When I finished the
think
chapter,
so.
I think it was last night.
It was a
ranting and raving.
great rant. It was a great rant.
I just,
uh,
yeah, I feel like there's so much that needs to be unpacked with them, and I just don't. I need more of it sooner, faster, right in my veins, and the fact that I don't have it yet is slightly upsetting.
yeah.
To that, I did hear that as well, Hannah. Just to add on to that, I wouldn't be surprised if Miss Yamada knows a lot of that too, because Capricorn is the only one who is really an established hero, and so he probably has a longer file than any of the others do, right? Besides Sveta, because Sveta was in the facility too. But in terms of established hero history, Capricorn had that. So I could imagine that she's like, I know this guy, and he's pretty fucked up.
And this
like,
is dangerous. Yeah.
He's that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. So there were some accusations thrown about Capricorn being a pretty awful person. So yeah.
Let's before we move too far past Caillou,
Yeah.
Let's just get this out of the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Or
So
Caillou.
I'm going to take it since this was sent to me by one of our patrons. I'm going to take this as true because it's a screenshot of, I believe, a Discord conversation that Wildbow has. His thoughts on Caillou. He's an awful little dick wipe. It's fundamentally bad programming for children that teaches them to be brats. You have shows like Bluey, which I almost had my Bluey mug out tonight, but I chose my Zelda one instead. With nuanced characters and morals and depth and themes and humor and good writing. It's inspired. Parents and children both learn lessons. Then you have Caillou. If you have an episode where he bites a baby, gets scolded for 5 seconds, then gets rewarded, do you know what the moral of the episode is? Bite baby, get reward.
Yep.
Steal toy, friend upset, get to keep toy. Steal toy, get toy. Throws a pants shitting tantrum because you got the day wrong and didn't get to go to the circus, get to play with dad. I've babysat rooms full of kids with the show on, no control over that, and had them turn into a pack of whiny velociraptors immediately after. And then somebody said, he's my French-Canadian representation, and Wildbow said, don't put that on Quebec.
I'm so glad I
Yeah.
said Caillou for no reason. From Caillou.
Yeah,
Caillou.
I am too. It's so nice to know
random
how
Wildbow
right
lore.
Wildbow is.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's great.
I would love to now see I mean, I know who but like everybody submits their top like children's show from your country,
Mm.
and like, you know, in a SmackDown of
Do
children's
we
shows.
need a
Who
children's
has the
show bracket?
Yeah.
I think, you know what?
Patreon
Children's
content.
show bracket Patreon content. I want to be seeing
Let's
the
go.
Bluey Crewy go up against the whatever Paw Patrol, and we're gonna see how that
Fucking
throwdown goes down.
demolished, let me tell you.
Yeah, first I'll tell you, Caillou's got nobody in his core. Caillou is on his own. Caillou's getting run the fuck
I don't even know
over.
how it's a thing. It's crazy. It's the worst show ever.
I don't
Ugh,
know who allowed
It's an
this.
awful show.
No, you know
Um,
what? We'll pair up Caillou with Peppa Pig. They're both equally annoying.
Peppa's
yeah.
not great.
Oof.
Oh,
Bernard,
can
I would
ruin
argue that a lot of
They're
those
in the big
shows
blue house.
are from a little bit ago. Like Caillou's not a recent show.
I use old.
In fact, I would say while
No,
there are a
right.
bunch of like Coco Melon type shows, Bluey, it has been a standout, and
I
that is
will
a
say.
Yeah.
very recent show.
One, and I would
Yeah.
say too that it's one of those things where there are always great and bad shows. Like when I think of the PBS era, for example, there are some great
Yes.
shows when I was growing
Oh
up.
my
You know that
God.
I think are
Yeah.
genuinely still hold up and are pretty good.
Agreed.
Versus there were shows back then like Caillou that weren't great for kids, and
Mm.
you know,
All right.
and then
save it
you've
for
got like the
Patreon.
weird
Save it.
shows for older kids. You know, yeah, we'll save it. We'll
Save the
it though.
content.
Let's go
Yeah,
for
Um,
we'll do a whole Patreon
anyways,
content about it.
Chip of the
Yeah.
dog.
Do it.
All right. Yeah, and then I have let's see, talking about Brio, the stylistic enthusiasm for like the Brio that is what there's the character
I'm
that
sorry.
we
Yeah,
meet.
the pirate guy. The pirate guy.
Yeah.
Is he a
Brio
I-
is
pirate?
the pirate leader. I
So for
mean,
those of
that's
you-
what he's described as.
I
absolutely.
missed that.
Once again, it is just the pirate.
He's got the one foot up on the chair. I know that.
Exactly. It's what's the guy from She-Ra? You know who I'm
Oh,
talking about.
I was thinking the Captain Morgan pose on the bottle, but
But yeah, that's
yeah,
basically what he's doing.
Hold on.
We'll figure it out in a second.
Han
I'm sure
Solo
Chad
at
will
the
help us.
canteen.
Yeah, it's that vibe. But
The Seahawk.
Captain Seahawk, you know, it's just all this panache, and I love it so much. But for those of you who grew up in a very Christian conservative environment, you remember the Breakaway magazine for boys, and the female equivalent
Brio.
was Brio. I never
Brio
knew what
mag.
Brio meant. I thought that was a made-up word. See, Fran Vols knows.
Yeah, Fran
Seahawk. Brio, though, means stylistic enthusiasm. And I'm going to start incorporating that in my everyday vocabulary because if there's nothing, if nothing else, I have Brio and I always want to share it. So I love this word now.
It stands for
It's my
what?
favorite
Say.
word.
Say it again.
see when
Stylistic
looked up,
enthusiasm.
when I looked up Brio, it immediately gave me Brio Italian Restaurant Grill.
Alan's
He's an Italian pirate.
There we go.
And
Uh.
then aside from that, they sit down, they talk with them, and then they get to like the what I like to call let's make a deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
I
you know,
mean,
basically,
Small teams
yeah,
are
them saying, basically, Brio's thing is like, yeah, if you get good, it feels like a non-deal almost, where you're like, yeah, you have our approval to get intel and sell it to us. It's
yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. It's like, and if it's good, we'll use it, and maybe you'll get some money for it. It's like,
Maybe
yeah,
I'll
so
make
this
money.
sounds all
this is
lit.
really funny
Maybe we won't.
because I just spent the other night with talking about contract law with somebody and learning
Lawyer
about
friend.
like how contracts are formed and you know what they're doing here. I need to go back and reread it now that I have this in mind. But this if the laws are still applying, this could be a binding contract. Like,
Oh.
I need to go back and go over the wording of it, but it'd be really funny
Mhm.
to be like, no, when he said that, like, he has to deliver if they come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I'll reread
Okay,
that.
the
If
most
any other
interesting
lawyers
part
can
of this
chat.
conversation, though, the most interesting part of this conversation, though, has got to be the teams that come up, the speedrunners, as a villain group of time manipulators.
Yes. So cool.
Oh my gosh. And their names are great. They've got secondhand, final hour, and last minute. Like, what a great
I
Oh my
team
love it.
and
gosh.
team name.
That's awesome.
And then they've
Phenomenal.
got two thinkers, Brain Dead and Bird Brain.
I love it
Amazing.
so much.
So
you know,
funny.
Wild Bow just had a blast coming up with that. Ugh.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
Amazing team.
And they-
And the vibe you get is that they like are paid to sweep the entire town, but like because they're time manipulators, it's probably like they pause time in the town, run through
Yeah.
like real quick on their own time looking for things out of place, and then set it back in motion so nobody ever notices the sweep happening.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I-
One.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that final hour they can have meetings in banked time streams. Like, what does that mean?
It means
I
you
need
save
more
up time
information.
and then you cash it in like a small area.
Oh, that's so
Oh
cool.
my
So
gosh.
cool.
Leet's legacy
Like,
goes
oh.
on.
Oh. Leet
All
only
right.
wishes he could be this cool.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, for real.
But they walk. The speedrunners walk where Leet floundered on the ground.
Which it's true. That's absolutely. I will say though, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, did we have any time manipulators in Worm?
Yes.
Because we did. Okay, who is it? Who is the time? I mean, okay, Coil. Sure.
No. Well,
But who
okay.
else?
Manipulate
that's
time.
not
It
the
was
one I'm
more of
thinking of.
timelines.
So
Time. It's
Like,
the
he
closest we
couldn't-
had that I could remember. Yeah, it's the closest. I was just trying to
Yeah.
think of who we had that I could remember. Was there
So,
a time manipulator?
I
No.
feel,
say-
and chat can correct me, but I feel like there is
Oh.
a time manipulator.
Forgot of
The
the main
one
one.
the one that's mistakenly. Oh well, a Gray Boy. Yeah,
There's
you're
what's
right.
his fuck? Yeah, not Gray Boy. Even. No,
Oh, you're
the
Perdition,
kills a
the-
cord.
Yeah, Perdition. The trap. The
Perdition.
Perdition.
Oh, the
Clock
3
Clock
second.
Walker. Okay.
Well,
Clock
Clockwalker, I don't
Yeah.
think is.
Not a time manipulator though. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's just like a space. I mean, it might be kind of. It's
stasis kind of effect.
you
Yeah, Fierce
see-
Day had
oh,
time travel. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Way
okay.
back
Okay,
few
okay.
minutes.
The other one I was
guess
thinking
I'm
of that gets
thinking of, like,
mistaken
broader
for.
time manipulation.
There's one person that I think of that gets mistaken for a time manipulator. I think because it's in their name. The leader of the Adepts was no. Although that is the leader of the Adepts is mentioned to be that, but we don't see them. I'm thinking about. Is it 11th hour, or it's
11th
somebody whose
hour,
name sounds
maybe.
like that,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
it feels like a time thing, but they're just like putting them to sleep, kind of, and you have to like she like gets the
Mhm.
bugs to like bite her to wake her back up, or to like
Yeah.
make her throw up.
Well, and
'Cause
that's
they think it's a time thing, but it's
Cool.
not.
well,
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
why
yeah.
I actually felt like that was a power set that maybe Wildbow had particularly avoided, because time manipulation can get really tricky. Of like, well,
Yeah.
why doesn't that guy just always rewind time?
Yeah.
But the idea of sort of limited time manipulation is kind of an interesting thing, and I'm curious how he'll work that out. here with this, because it's a time manipulation. I feel like is a really easy power to just to kind of write yourself into a corner with. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
Yeah.
interested to see how it goes.
The real thing is like the only one that can really affect time is, I guess, Fierce, and that is why he's such a like essentially an A tier, S tier cape.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Why he's so
Yeah.
who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like stasis effects like Gray Boy or Clock Blocker, and there's a lot of like the hypnosis girl who changes
And it's
time
all
perception.
self-inducing. Like Gray Boy
Just like,
can
yeah,
rewind
self-induced
himself
small area.
and
Yeah.
can do it to others,
There's
but
not
can't
there's
do
not
it in,
anybody who like does the whole Superman fly around the world and reverse all of time kind of thing.
exactly.
So
Thankfully.
I'm just interested to see how it plays, because time powers can get weird.
Yeah.
And then you end up in that situation where you're like, well, why doesn't Superman just do that for every problem?
time.
Every
Why
time.
doesn't Doctor Who just go back and fix it?
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Because it was in a time lock. Okay. You couldn't do it.
Nothing ever is.
First off, if there's one thing I know about the Doctor Who show, it's as soon as you come up with a thing, it's like the next season is about coming up with something that breaks that thing. So
Yeah.
there's probably a time key that unbreaks the time lock so that he can
The
go
heart
back
of
and
the
do it.
TARDIS.
Yeah, the
or-
heart.
Yeah.
You got to trust in the heart of the TARDIS to get your blue eyes. Like,
What about the
There's
time
only really
parking
one
break?
thing I know about Doctor Who. The only thing I know about Doctor Who is that they have some pretty cool magic cards.
I bet they do.
of course. Oh yeah, the one Endbringer with the time pyramids. Is that Khonsu?
yeah.
Khonsu.
Khonsu, yeah.
Yeah, that
Khonsu,
move
that's right.
time really fast and then also can stick the bubbles.
Yeah.
It was
yeah,
the
time,
bubbles.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, the weird
Yeah.
bubble.
Because then like you would get stuck in it and age really rapidly and just
Yeah.
that was kind of
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
something.
But once again, that's like yeah. Okay.
Okay. Interlude?
Interlude.
Interlude. All right, interlude 3.x dot. I feel like I should do like a Gollum voice for this one. Like that's how I imagine Dot speak.
You should do it in Ratcatcher's voice.
Yeah.
Containment is broken on Earth bet. Many active exponential threats. Dot undergoes the desperate mission to free Nilbog to save their people. Dot is rebuffed after a hard journey, but finds a new friend in Amy.
Okay, see, that was funny,
Beautiful.
but Ratcatcher 100% has a recorder that she uses to record her like journal every day.
Right.
Note to self.
Love it.
Yeah.
A
Note to
bigger
self.
mousetrap.
Note to self. Oh,
Great,
man.
great interlude. Saves the arc, in all honesty.
Oh, good. It
Yeah.
really did. It
Yeah.
really did.
It's so good. I gotta find. Actually, I'm not even gonna speak yet. Let me find. There's a line that I really like in this arc. I'm gonna pull it up.
Oh, well, you find it. Did anybody else feel? I don't know if anybody in chat has seen Return to Oz, but for some reason this gave me strong Return to Oz vibes.
It didn't. Now that you said it, I see it. I don't like it, but I see it.
I don't like it either. Like, it's just there. That
Yeah.
the whole Costco shop is basically
Oh
just a
my
giant
God.
hive of mimics, and
I
is kind of a
love it.
mimic itself.
Did I
Cosmic
miss? Do we know what those things are or no?
It's the Machine Army.
It's the new machine army, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm drawing a huge blank. Where did they come from?
haven't-
No origin point. We
Yeah.
Okay.
just
Brand
we
new.
talk
Brand
about
spanking new.
Okay.
all
as
the
far as I'm
problems
aware
that
of.
we have to deal with. They're talking about like
The machine.
Sleeper's still out there. We still have all these issues with all these other planets. The Endbringers are, essentially in stasis or, just stopped doing things. And now we have new problems on the rise with unrest, and also the machine army running over
We
the old
fought
planet.
God, and we
Okay.
won, and now we get to fight the machines.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
fucking
they were
here
terrifying.
for it. That was amazing. So good.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, Bernard, we'll get to that question too, because that's one we'll be asking at the end. But yeah, the machine army and their mimic, like they're moving, and they were supposed to not go across the
Mimic
Raleigh
refrigerators.
chasm or whatever, which I'm assuming is like them making their way maybe north through
Somewhere.
North Carolina up
I
to
suppose.
the Boston
They've taken
portal.
us out.
Virginia.
I don't know.
Probably.
I mean, I'm here for it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Mm.
And I put especially versus Dot's, the rest of Dot's crew, looks like the machine army beat the bio army.
Ooh.
Well, we knew they would, so.
I mean, that's just the inevitability of the machine takeover. It's why I say
Right.
thank
Yeah.
you to ChatGPT whenever I use it, so hopefully they treat me nicely.
Exactly.
I say thank you to Alexa because I don't want her to turn on me. She's sitting on my desk. I try to stay on her good side.
There you go. Yep. Yeah.
found-
I'll
The,
always give her a little kiss before bed, just a little.
yeah. Yeah.
Do me last, please.
Yeah.
Last. Jacob, did you find your thing you were looking for?
I did. I found so this was. I remember this line because we were talking about the way the capture the flag fight is written to be overtly detailed. The little bit here, she's Dot has snuck past rat catchers in the sewers, faces the rats. It's a couple lines. She drew her box cutter, extending the blade, and sized up her opponents. 3 rats against her and her box cutter. It might have been an even fight, but she had her devotion to her king on her side. She would rescue her king. That's the fight scene. And it's
So
Yeah, and then-
good.
And the next scene is her limping, like
She's like in her
chewed up
bones.
and bloody
all,
through the
all beat
tube.
up. Yep.
Like
Oh.
it's there.
That's
That
it.
was a more
good.
intense and satisfying fight scene in like a paragraph
100%.
than the entire chapter of
In 2
3.4 or
sentences.
whatever.
My
Yeah.
imagination could fill in the blanks just fine there.
So
It
well.
was
So well. Oh,
so well
really
written.
lovely. Really lovely.
It
Oh.
goes to show Wild Bow, as we
interludes.
know, can
Fucking
write
slap.
really good. That's never been in question.
Yeah,
And
no.
that like
Wild
poor
Bow's
writing
amazing.
is like the outlier. I don't know if it's
I feel like the other.
why this way now, other than just like I'm gonna
Well, I feel
take
like
my
the
time with
interludes-
it.
I
don't
feel like
know.
with the interludes he can get fun. Like this is
Yeah.
your chance to like
Yeah.
really just play and have a good. Now we just play, as opposed to like the storyline, all the chapters. Like you're trying to hit all the beats, you're trying to do all the right setup, and
He's
like
trying
I
to
can't
explain
imagine.
powers and stuff too, right? With the other ones, so that's
Exactly,
kind of
yeah.
the
So
there's-
limitation.
And this
There's
should-
a lot more rigidity that he has to
Yeah.
work with.
And we
Or
should
work in
always
content
just
and stuff.
have the like disclaimer going across the screen.
Yeah.
Let's not forget this was a first draft web serial without
Yeah.
any editing. And I think sometimes, like after 6 months of a little paragraph, I'm like, man, I cooked. But like if you read the first version of anything I've ever again, so like it's the caveat is always notwithstanding that this was
Yeah.
is always a first draft, so it's crazy.
Yeah. And let it never be forgotten. We love Wild Bill to death. Like
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
reason
Oh,
why
yeah.
we started a fucking podcast about his books because we love them so much.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Let it never be forgotten.
Let it
I
never
might
be
gripe
forgotten.
and get upset about chapter 4, arc 3. But the
Yeah.
man knows how to tell a story that
For sure.
woo,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have Ratcatcher catching rats.
just
Finally.
what I love her.
Finally.
I love her. She's amazing.
Also, just I forget if it's a line or it's just me, but like I just have the line, "Ha ha, she sees his tiny penis."
Oh yeah.
What was that?
I can sense really small
Oh.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. That was amazing. That was great.
I do like Ratcatcher. What a great
Oh,
character. I hope we
Ratcatcher's
see
great.
more
I'm
of
so
her.
glad we got to see her again after the last
Yeah.
interlude with Crystal Clear. Gosh.
I hope she's just the reoccurring interlude character.
Oh, I hope so too.
is in every interlude for no reason. It's always there.
Also, she offers. Does she offer Dot? Because I kind of wasn't quite sure if that's what she was doing. Did she like offer Dot like, here's my pocket, like? Because it sounded like she was like offering
She
a
gets
pocket
in her
to
pocket
Dot.
for now. No, she
Does
gets
she
in her
get in-
pocket for a little bit.
Yeah, and walks
Yeah,
around with her.
'cause-
She's basically like,
Because
I'm gonna
Ratcatcher
turn
is
you
carrying
in.
her to the vending machine to say, like, here, I'll get you some water. Just hop into my pocket for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought she had offered her the pocket and then she hadn't gotten in, but she was still with her. Okay. Solid.
Mhm.
Love it. I need
Also,
Dot
I
to
get
be with
the sense,
Ratcatcher
too-
always.
Yeah.
I get the sense too that Dot is, well, to explain, you know how you may not know, but octopuses and squids, they only have one solid part of their body, which is their beak. And so long as they can squeeze the beak and the surrounding flesh inside of any crevice, they can get
They're
into
liquid.
stuff. And
Yeah.
so, like,
Yeah.
they're basically liquid, which is why, like, there have been a couple of instances where sailors have gone down to the bottom of their ship and found a giant squid in the hull of their ship, like inside because it snuck inside.
So cool.
That's kind of the vibe I get with how Dot's body works, because she can like squeeze herself into these tiny spaces. And I'm just imagining she's like a ferret basically, right? Which are mostly liquid. And so,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
just like squeezing through these tiny little spaces, of just like, and just getting in there. It's great.
Sorry, what was that sound? I love it.
Yeah, very Nilbach creation vibes with I mean obviously, but like all of his creations had like this fluidity to them that she definitely
A blobbiness of sorts.
Yeah,
Mucusy even.
A mucusy.
Well, you know, we can find a different word.
Yeah, we really can.
Very moist. Very moist.
Oh no, we don't need that out in the universe.
Also, I don't know who we're talking about here, but I just have nerd written. I'm assuming that's Ratcatcher talking about Tiny Penis Man.
Probably.
Nerd, or is it the
I just
conversation?
have nerd.
Great note, Alan. I love it.
All right, fantastic.
You know.
We do get to see. Get to see Bonesaw again briefly.
Dot 2+. Dot can canonically unhinge her jaw all the way back. So why not unhinge all her other joints? Yeah, like the the vulture.
That's
man
how she eats
from
all those gummy vitamins.
From the X-Files. Talked about he used to squeeze in all the tight spaces by dislocating every part of the body and squeezing them through.
Yeah, no,
it's like a flesh version of Mannequin, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
like Mannequin.
Horrid. Truly horrible. I love it though. I love it so much.
They talked about that. I also just imagine fighting the rats down in there. That like Dot is small. Like
she's small. She's small bean.
Yeah, small bean with the little.
Probably as big as she is. Just
she's like
it's
trying
a
to
great
hold
sword.
It like this.
Yeah.
Oh.
I imagine like whipping it out and it like chink, like the
so cool.
Would look so badass.
She like flicks it out.
When we play our mouse guard game, that's I need the box cutter.
That's fantastic.
As my main.
Love it.
It also made me, between looking at mouse guard and Dot, I really made me want to go watch the old Watership Down animation.
Yeah, Alan and I are gonna watch it when we're brave.
Yeah, and feeling really high.
When we're having a really good day.
We're not.
We're gonna watch Watership Down.
So good.
Yeah.
I can't watch Watership Down on a bad day, or else I'll just crawl into the earth.
I think there's I'm trying to remember, somebody famous just did a recording of them like reading it on brain's failing me, not Kindle, not Amazon, Audible, and apparently it was really freaking good. 2+ added, I imagine Dot kind of looks like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, but with more colors. Yeah, that's probably fair. I imagined a weird like combination of like a rat humanoid thing.
I was kind of feeling lemur vibes, maybe a little bit.
Lemur?
Yeah, just smaller.
Kinda.
She doesn't have
kind
a
of.
tail. Mentioned she has
Do
a
you
tail.
remember? Is it the weasels or the ferrets or whatever creature they are from Ice Age? The two brothers,
Yeah.
Crash and Bash.
Oh, yeah.
They're
I
like
think they're
little
possums.
I
weasels.
imagine that, but with like, yeah, possums. Yeah,
Possums?
I imagine.
Wait,
Yeah.
whoa!
No, they're too lanky. They're some ancient creature that's like a combination of all of
They
them.
have possum
I
tails.
imagine that, but like
I think Michael's right.
with no hair, like naked mole rat. Those,
Yeah.
no hair, and like a dress on.
There you go.
That works.
Oh my god, you're so 100% correct.
Yeah.
They're possums.
I've seen them way too many times.
Michael, possum expert.
A nerd.
Okay, that's
Ancient
actually
possum.
upsetting because I want to be the possum expert, and I'm.
Well, you know, get good.
I know. It's so sad. Love
Let's
possums.
see, and then we get to see our the Biomasters 3, our Bio Tinker, our
Yes.
Biomaster, and our
Oh.
Bio
All working
Red
together.
Queen, Alice, and the King.
something else. Yeah,
Good
Yeah.
shit,
Uh,
man. I loved that.
I really like
do
these
love the
three
little
as
line.
a triangle.
Oh yeah, this whole conversation's great.
So good.
I love the little line where they mention Valkyrie and Bonesaw's like, oh well, the Red Queen knows Valkyrie, and Nobog's like, well, I'm not surprised. Queens know each other very often. It's just like, he's just like
I love
still just a little bit in that not so reality world mind,
Yeah.
and it's,
He's doing great though. He's making strides.
You know, good
honestly,
for
he
him.
seems like
I'm
he's
so
doing
proud of
okay,
him.
except even just like accepting his fate is like, nope, I'm done. What I do find it really interesting though, where he's like, basically says to Dot, there was a crucial moment and I chose the wrong people to side with, and that was my downfall. And that, of course, is that scene
Yeah.
back with the conversation between Jack and Taylor, and he's realizing
And
I was wrong. I was deceived.
what's his
Yeah.
face? Golem.
Gollum, yeah.
Theo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gollum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Theo. Gosh, it's such a good scene too. It's so heartbreaking. Like him hugging her and saying no, and then saying no again, and being like, oh no, he's not just saying no to like question, like he's saying no and like pushing her away and like stroking her hair and being like, oh, you were Polka's, Polka 3 or Polka 4, like, oh gosh, like obviously Nilbog is creepy
Yeah.
as fuck, and that was a not exciting space to be in last time we were around him, but it's so tender, like that moment between them
Yeah.
is so tender and sweet, like
Mm.
my poor little heart was so sad.
On the other hand, it
Gosh.
disturbed me because it made me realize Nilbog's creatures can reproduce, and I don't like that idea.
Yeah.
Well, up to a certain point though, I imagine it's very like Dolly the sheep, like there's after a certain
Yeah.
point there's no more.
That doesn't make
like,
it better though.
No, no,
Hannah.
no. It's a
It makes it
matter of
worse.
matter of biomass. That's the whole
Right,
thing.
Yeah, the breakdown of matter, and yeah.
Because she's,
But like,
she's Polka Dot. She's the dot of Polka.
And she's
It's
she's
adorable.
like the third one too.
well,
She's the child of the fourth. Yeah,
There we go.
she's
Yeah.
the child of
fourth
Polka the fourth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like I'm so proud of him in this moment. Like he really is trying to work within the confines that he's been placed. Like he had a choice here. He could have taken her and like remade her and like really gone ham, and he didn't. Like he chooses not to. He like no, I'm gonna, like, I'm tired, I'm old, this is it. And like, ugh. God damn it, Wildboat done it again.
Yeah. As William points out, that's specifically the reason he's an S-class threat, because S-class threats are primarily self-propagating ones.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I love Nilbog. He's so scary.
Yeah, he's great.
Danny
The
DeVito.
Nilbog
I like-
redemption arc begins.
I like what's his name? Is it Jeremy Rinke? What's his name?
Jamie
Jamie Rinke.
Jamie
Jamie
Rinke.
Rink.
Yeah.
Rinky,
really
Rink,
like-
Rink, right, whatever.
I just pronounced it Rink. I think.
Yeah.
But-
think I've been
I really
pronouncing
like
it,
this version of
but-
him.
I do too. It's giving like the retired toy maker vibes. Like it's
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
Let's
Yeah.
not forget that he did murder an entire town just so that he could be king. Like let's not
Yeah,
forget.
no, he
but-
definitely did some things.
But
Mm,
he took care of Dot.
he
and,
took
did.
care of Dot.
you
It's
know,
redeemed.
so
He's
we get a
redeemed.
pass.
Carol, never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Mailbox.
Carol's done nothing but save people her entire life. Fuck her. She was the best
Oh,
parent.
man.
Basically, yeah.
Not even like a terrible parent, like a physically abusive, all
No,
that.
like, she was
Like
a- she
she's
was
just a
fine.
shitty parent.
Fine.
Like
Yeah,
Wait, if Nilbog's
No,
technically
where's Nilbog?
technically a parent,
also
that-
a parent.
does that put him in? Is that our
Ooh.
fairy kill? Is it Kenzie's dad,
Ah, there you
Carol, and Nilbog?
okay, but
So
if
odd.
that's
Hell
the
yeah.
case,
go.
it's
There,
like
there. No,
I don't feel comfortable answering that question.
no.
Perhaps
Mary.
another time.
We marry Mary Nailbog.
Here's the thing.
Oh,
I marry Carol for the lawyer money.
Ah,
Ooh.
smart.
can,
That's
can
smart.
I kill her though? Like, can I kill her later?
Yeah,
after
yeah.
I marry her.
Marry and kill.
Marry and
But Nailbog's a granddad. He is, kind of past
Mm.
beekeeping age.
He
Yes,
is.
beekeeping. I can't. Oh
good.
my gosh.
Marry Danny
Yeah.
DeVito.
Marry Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
right. As we've stated, he would be played by Danny DeVito.
100%.
Would be
But-
played by
but so-
Danny DeVito. Yep.
So would everybody though, so it's kind of hard.
Danny DeVito just plays everyone. Yeah.
Just doing a bunch
Okay.
of costume changes.
Yeah.
All right. And then at the very end, of course, we have the meetup between Dot and Amy.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know how that's going to go, but I have a bad
Fuck
feeling.
you, Amy.
I don't like the feelings.
Mm-mm.
I don't.
I don't
like them.
trust Amy at all.
No. Yeah. No. She's
No.
proven
In
herself.
the slightest.
Yeah. Agreed. She's proven herself to be not so good, and also, didn't trust her with the Beetle with Atlas.
Mm-mm.
Why would I trust her with Dot? Poor, precious, sweet, soft Dot that she tucks
Yeah.
nicely into her
Dot,
jacket.
you need to not hang around bad influence.
Go back to
Okay.
Ratcatcher.
So
Ratcatcher
what's-
will take care of you,
Ratcatcher was
and
great.
it'll be
Hang out
great.
with
You'll have a
Ratcatcher.
great time. Stay away from Amy.
Here- Here's what else is frustrating about Amy here to me is that unlike Victoria, it appears that Amy has kind of just been brought back into the fold of heroes.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, she has access to Nilbog, and obviously, of course, Bonesaw does too, under observation. And I think part of it is that Amy's job is to basically make sure Bonesaw doesn't do anything too wacky.
Basic.
Is like one of her
Mhm.
jobs.
Yeah.
But when Nilbog asks her, "What are you going to be doing next? Like, what are you up to?" She mentions a few ideas, including, "I'll be at my father's side while talking to some of the most powerful people in all the known worlds. I'll see my parents trying to say goodbye and yet unable to pull away, or making my greetings and being pushed away, and I'll continue to feel like I'm in the wrong places every step of the way." Basically, it sounds like she just has equal access to the hero world, or maybe
Yeah.
even greater
Fuck.
than Victoria has.
Yeah.
Clearly.
That-
Yeah.
Feels very wrong.
Also, like, she's such a
Feels
whiny
very wrong.
bitch. Like,
True.
she
Yeah.
I think I said this in my rant the other night. I don't exactly remember what I said, but here's the thing. We've all been through shit, right? Like, clearly our group has been through shit. And there is a redemption arc for many. Even here with Nilbog. There is a redemption arc for many. And yet Amy still holds on to this weird energy of like, woe is me. I fucked up, but I'm so like, oh my gosh, like, like, oh my god. either be like, I fucked up, I'm the worst person that exists, I accept that and I move on. Like, either that happens, or like, you go, you know what? This is my chance to be better, and I'm going to try and forget as best I can, and I'm going to move forward. Either way, you have to move forward. It feels to me like Amy just wallows constantly. It's woe is me, poor as and I can't go down. I can't go downstairs because my sister that I mentally and physically assaulted is downstairs, and I can't go downstairs, so I guess I'll sit on the stairs and pout. Like, I will kill you myself and stuff your body in a sewer drain. I'm sorry. I think I blacked out there for a second. I truly despise this woman so much. And it's not because of what she did. We've seen worse. It's because of the self-pity. That's what it is. It's
I'm thinking about it more and more. Like, there are, you categories of villains that you would classify. Villains you love to hate, villains that are really like cool, that you're like, actually I kind of like that villain, villains that are just so rough and tough, nobody can beat them. You're like, oh, they're so badass. Amy falls in a weird category of villain that, like, the more I think about it, she might be top tier because of like how much I hate, a real, like, honestly, even better than like Joffrey from Game of Thrones, because Joffrey's a messed up kid who has never been told no in his life and is like needlessly cruel and a sociopath, like just a monster. But like, for I don't know, he's bad. He's just bad. Amy is complicated, but not so much that I can't just still hate her because she's the worst. Yeah. Wallowing is a great word. I hate her, and she is, if she really wanted to, she could be a horribly S tier like villain threat.
Yeah, I think the difference is that probably what it is, a lot of it is that where the villains that are awful people but we like are often the ones who fall into one of two categories. Either they know that they're awful and they're proud of it, like Jack Slash. He's an agent of chaos and he's like all there for it and we love him because of it. Or they are deluded into thinking that they're a good guy, like Nilbog, where he's like, I'm the king of my kingdom and this is my king, like he's like delusional and you're like, oh, that's kind of fascinating or interesting. Amy is not either of those because she's not accepting the fact that she's a bad person.
Yeah.
It's that self-pity of like, oh, woe is me, I've done horrible things. Oh,
yeah.
So she's not even committed to the villain bit. And I don't know. She's comes
stuck.
across very, she's stuck. Yeah. I don't know. She's a rough character for sure. I don't know. And I think part of it too is that it's hard to like a character who wallows in self-pity. And the only character I can think of, and this is a bit of a controversial take, the only character I've liked who was self-pitying was Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. Which is controversial because a lot of people hate that character.
Terrible character.
He's relatable to a certain extent because of the time of his life that he's in, right? Anyways, all that to say,
what about Eeyore?
Amy, I feel like Eeyore's different.
What about
Eeyore's
Puddleglum?
just depressed, okay? And
Eeyore's just sad.
What about Puddleglum?
Eeyore is in the woods without medication.
Speaking of Eeyore, I actually I saw some wonderfully horrible fan art of Eeyore recently.
No, thank you.
It was him taking a bath with the brave little toaster, and that is all.
Damn it. Okay, what about Puddleglum from Narnia? He's kind of cool, maybe.
Puddleglum?
See, again, he's but he's not a villain. That's the thing, is he's not a villain.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Puddleglum's
also, like, we want to bring up that we've also got Marvin from Hit Guide. Like,
the thing is, I guess the comparison to Holden is that Holden is a bad person. Part of it.
That was a better comparison. I just wanted to throw Eeyore in there.
But he's relatable and he's understandable in a sense. Like, you feel bad for him. You feel bad with him in a way.
Yeah.
Whereas with Amy, she's a bad person, but you just don't relate to her, I guess. I don't know.
I hate her. She can't she. Oh, no, I'm not. I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
I gotta
The
be
truth is,
done.
it's just
Let-
not enjoyable
For
to
now.
read, right? Like if you're reading
No.
somebody be so self-wallowing, it's just not.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you're like, okay, let's.
Yeah.
Like
It-
I can read a depressed character. That's fine. It's not about the. It's
No,
it's
I get it, yeah.
It's exactly what you said. It's exactly
Yeah.
what you said. If she's gonna be evil, be evil. Be the villain. Be the fucking or be the hero. Don't sit in this middle space and whine about it.
Yeah.
like I said, I
have
think that's
no
why
tolerance for that shit.
she might be the greatest. I don't know if villain's the right word, but like antagonist to
Hateable
like
character.
yeah, like
Antagonist is
she's
accurate.
a villain to the story and the characters at the same time. Like it's
Yeah.
and the community. Like she might be a top tier well, I'll say villain for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
To wrap it up,
Yeah.
if we're ready to finish.
The
Uh
anger is leaching out of me, and now it's time for bed. So.
and now it's time and now that we've gotten that catharsis out of the way,
we
let's
go.
talk
You just needed to get it out.
let's talk powers, and then we'll go into some quick questions after that. Favorite powers, favorite or we'd say characters too if we want to do that.
Capricorn is just so good. I love
Yeah.
the use of powers, like we've talked before about when two characters double up and they like their power can play off of each other. Capricorn obviously like made to fit that to a T, for all the worst reasons, but like still it's so much fun to like create something and then like solidify it, like, and then the whoosh of water, like it's so fun. And I'm very much looking forward to like seeing that play out in future fights. And also, I just, like I said, just eating up all the morsels, all the details, all the tidbits that I can get about Byron and Tristan, because
Mhm.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, definitely really cool interaction of powers. The fact that there's two of them, they have to kind of work together, plan together. Very, very cool. I would also say, speaking of like visual powers, Alan, we talked about Ashley or Damsel of Distress before. An image came to mind that I realized was an obvious one in terms of explosive flight, like firebending from Avatar.
Yes.
Where
yes.
like they especially with Azula uses it really well, I would say. So yeah, stuff like that where using fire to fly, yeah, very cool power. I do think though Capricorn's is more interesting at this point, just mostly because of the character and the interaction it has with their powers.
Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot, but he definitely stood out in those scenes for sure.
Mm-hmm.
With those powers, we'll give another just shout out to Ratcatcher. Just can't wait to see that.
Yeah, baby.
Of course.
I mean, and I got to know more about Finest Hour. Like, tell me about these time caches, my guy. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if I sit in on a presentation, can I get some?
Is this when you say timeshare? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is my time being sucked away right now listening to this presentation and
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
stored somewhere else? Is that how this
Yeah.
works?
Exactly.
I've taken a whole year of your life.
Of your life.
That is
So
actually
good.
how timeshares really work. They're all just like chrono vampires. My favorite this time round was actually Rain. You normally just don't give a shit, and maybe it's just because it was skimming because it was boring. But this time around, I was like, wait a minute, your power is actually to like. I knew in concept like was to weaken things, but I thought because the rest of your power sucked that it also sucked, and this was the first time it clicked for me. Like, oh no, he actually like has a good power like that can break things. That's pretty nice. And one of his shitty powers, the like momentum stopping one, love it. The just like stepping off the train and like immediately just walking to the side. Like, this is a fun little power.
Mm.
So, all right.
Nice.
Questions. These are predictions that we might have. One from I think Bernard. Who do you think is the most problematic out of the group?
Yeah, it's
Who
funny how
is
kind of changed there a little bit.
who is the one that Miss Yamada is worried about the most?
Yeah, I
See,
think we all
I always
agree
said
on
it
Cash.
wasn't damsel. It wasn't damsel because I was like, that's the red herring. Like
That-
damsel's the
that's the
obvious one to worry
Damsel's
about.
100% the red herring. Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you
Probably
think,
Yeah, I
Jacob?
mean,
Capricorn.
Yeah, Capricorn, I think makes the most sense, but we just know so little about the rest of them. Like honestly, it could be Kenzie if maybe her tinker power is something that's a lot crazier than what we
Oh,
think it is.
oh,
That is my vote. Birdie!
Oh,
Hello!
There's the kitty cat.
Yeah.
There's the
Could
cat.
be Chris.
Got
you
it
know,
right at the end.
there she
Yeah,
is.
I think it's Kinsey. I really do. I feel like there's something else weird going on there. And I don't know. I just don't know. And right now, with all the things that I don't know, and the weird vibe that I'm getting, with also her like manipulating her perception on cameras, like if she controls, I have a new theory. Okay, hear me out. Kenzie's parents. Oh wait, but no, they have to drive the vehicle. Have we seen them? They've shaken. He shook Victoria's hand. Dang it. Okay, my
oh,
thought
were you thinking
was
they were just
is
projections?
that they're all just
Oh, man.
holograms. They're all just holograms.
New theory. New theory for you, Hannah. New theory for you,
Hit me.
Hannah.
Hit me.
Kinsey is Defiant and Dragon's daughter.
And she's a robot herself.
She's a robot herself.
Oh my god. I actually kind of love it. I don't think that I love it.
That is great.
And you know what? It's true until proven otherwise.
It's
Yep.
true.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when you see the
fantastic.
world as Minecraft, everything is a block. Or in this
Exactly.
case, a large box.
A large box.
Yeah.
Existing
other
is a camera
predictions.
to look at boxes.
What are my eyes but cameras for my brain?
Yes.
What are my ears but cameras for sound from my brain?
What is reality but a
all-
giant, really hard to move box?
Okay, well,
Looks like we have some more bingos
heck yeah.
called out. Let's see if I can't pull
Yeah,
those
we need to get
up.
the complete list too at some point.
Yeah, we'll go through it now since we're ending. We got this one. We got Tattletale Hype, Cat on Screen, Cheers for Ratcatcher, and What's Up with Tristan and Moonsong. Other ones that we completed were What the fuck is Chris's power? Victoria called out for being judgy. Fuck Carol. Wishing for Kaye. Everyone loves Dot. Kenzie's robot dad. Ashley called out for being edgy/anime. And Tattletale hate.
Dang.
I would also argue we didn't get hung up on it, but hung up on a goat cut in half.
I
And,
mean,
We
it
kind
was
of did
weird.
for a second.
little.
yeah, for a second,
little.
did this
There's
feel
a
I think I
pause.
short?
made a
Which
face.
was
I made
there?
a face.
There, and then is Dot's interlude the best interlude? I'm not gonna lie, I
Oh.
was kind of waiting
Mm,
for one of you to
Well, it
to
was so
say something
early.
about.
It's hard to
Yeah.
say that it's our the best interlude because we're so early in, but I would akin it very much to Brutus's interlude. Like
yeah.
that
Which
kind
it's
of
hard to beat
slightly different
Brutus's interlude.
perspective. It's true. That's very true. Brutus's interlude is amazing, but it kind of like that slight shift, because Dot's not human. She's creature-like, but she's small. She skitters around. She's very single-minded, but she's smart and like it's just yeah. We'll
When
see.
they wrote the
but
book on going goblin mode, they were talking about.
about
Right.
All
Whew.
right, I'm going through. Ooh, any
What are we
other
reading
questions?
for next week?
I'm
Alan?
I'm looking at that. So next week is Arc 4 Shade. It is
2 weeks. Not
looks
And
like
when you say next week, you mean the 27th?
I mean
I do
2 weeks. I
mean-
mean the 27th. You are correct.
Yes.
There are it looks like 10 chapters for a total of 83,000 words.
Holy shit. Okay.
We are
Right.
ramping up. I would like to think that we do this one in 2 weeks. The next one after that is 107,000. That
We're
one
gonna
we'll
have to
talk
break
about
that one up.
splitting up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because that one has a good midway point.
Okay.
And this one does not. I think this one will be I think this one will be good for people to read all the way through for this 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, so
Um,
arc 4 for 2 weeks from now.
Arc 4, 2 weeks from now,
27th.
and 27th. Let me think. Any
man,
other?
how time flies. Jeez
Yeah, that's wild. But if nothing else, don't forget, chat. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks,
We really
guys.
appreciate y'all playing bingo. It's always fun, especially when you submit the answers to have your predictions on what they're going to predict.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
There's some really good ones in this. Let's see, what else do we?
Our
We
favorite
just appreciate
song.
you being there. We thank you to all of our patrons. Of course, we have our fun Patreon song that we'll be playing at the end, and we really appreciate y'all being here tonight while we discuss this. I hope y'all are reading along, and we really enjoy you. Thank you to Hannah, Nick, Michael, Jacob for joining me tonight. It's always fun talking about this with you guys.
Absolutely.
And,
A blast.
Yeah.
Always a good time. Fun with friends.
Mhm.
Fun times,
Absolutely.
friends.
Tease in the chat anytime Tattletale comes up ever again.
Tease in the chat.
Just blow it
Yeah,
up.
Tease in the chat. Double
Yeah.
tease in the chat for
Double
Tattletale.
tease.
All right, here
Or
could
teapots. I'll take teapots. too.
teapots work too.
All right. Michael, play us out.
Come support us and join the Patreon. Please help us and join the Patreon. We have fun, join the Patreon. It's great, yeah, join the Patreon. Why don't you just join the Patreon? Come on. Oh yeah, I remember the first time I joined the Patreon. It's the kind of day you don't forget. First day of my life.
Hey. Best day of my life.
Always a pleasure.
Best day of my life.
All right, guys, you're the best. We'll see you on the 27th. Read up. You guys are the best. See
ya.
ya.
Bye.